Attorney Kim leads with her values and is committed to providing legal services with excellence. To contact Attorney Kim, visit sjkimlaw.com. That's sjkimlaw.com. Whether it's drafting agreements, negotiating contract terms, or closing on a property, attorney Susan J. Kim can do it all. Over 10 years of experience and her wealth of knowledge tackling complicated legal negotiations and breaking them down into a smooth, easy-to-understand process is what she does best. So let attorney Susan J. Kim step in. To schedule your legal consultation today, visit sjkimlaw.com. That's sjkimlaw.com or call 847-906-3166. Susan J. Kim, attorney at law, is a state of Illinois licensed real estate attorney.
It's 5:10. Let's get an update on the roads. Team Hochberg Traffic Center Time is a service of Indeed.com. Their end-to-end hiring solution makes it easy to attract, interview, and hire candidates. Sponsor a job and instantly receive a short list of quality candidates whose resumes on Indeed match your job description at Indeed.com/credit. Let us start in Niles this morning, where there is a serious accident. Police tell us Ballard and Maryland. Reagan, I-88 eastbound between Peace Road and Route 47 is entirely shut down this morning due to a fatal accident that occurred near midnight last night. And as of around 4 a.m., the toll road was still shut down. We're getting an update on that shortly. But as of right now, to the best of our knowledge, the Reagan I-88 shut down eastbound between Peace Road and Route 47. We're also seeing reports of an accident on the Jane Addams I-90. That's I-90 eastbound, just east of Randall Road. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy starts next. AM 560 Weather Center forecast with our AccuWeather meteorologist, Steve Williams.
Variable cloudiness. We could come up with a shower today. Look for a high of 76. Clouds and a brief shower tonight. Low 62. Clouds, rain, thunderstorm for tomorrow. The high 69. Cloudy with a passing shower on Wednesday. The high again 69. I'm Steve Williams on AM 560. The Answer.
67 at O'Hare, 66 Lakefront, 68 Midway, 63 in Aurora. And your next news update is at 5:30. Chicago's Morning Answer starts next on AM 560, The Answer.
When life ends, your legacy begins. Ensure your legacy lives on at Catholic Cemeteries of Chicago, with 47 locations throughout Cook and Lake counties. Take advantage of 0% financing, lock in today's prices, and safeguard yourself against rising inflation. Visit CatholicCemeteryChicago.org or call 708-236-5490 to schedule a free consultation today.
This decade is looking like the worst one to retire or be retired in. For more than 30 years, Bob Carlson's Retirement Watch has been helping Americans invest, protect, and grow their assets. Subscribe to Retirement Watch and you'll get 3 months of Bob Carlson's Retirement Watch newsletter, 5 model portfolios, 5 free reports covering issues like estate planning and annuities to help you protect your money from the government and grow your nest egg, all for just $19.95. Sign up today at yourretirementwatch.com. yourretirementwatch.com.
Bad decisions limit future options. Make enough bad decisions and you'll destroy your life. Listen to The Flot Line with Rick Hughes this Sunday morning at 7. The Flot Line describes a main line of resistance in your soul built on God's Word. Listen this Sunday for inspiration, motivation, education, all without manipulation. That's The Flot Line with Rick Hughes this Sunday morning at 7 on AM 560. The Answer.
When your home or business has an insurance claim, the next step is very important. The claim process with insurance can be tedious, hard to understand, and difficult to navigate. You need someone working for you. You need a licensed claim adjuster. Why? The insurance company will send out their inspectors that work for them, get paid by them, and represent them. Not you.
This is Dan Lights from Crosscom. We inspect your property, file your claim, negotiate the damages, and maximize your settlement with your insurance company. If we complete the repairs approved by your insurance company, our service is free. Crosscom Public Adjusters has turned denied claims into approved claims. We've also increased insurance claims anywhere from 23 to 1,000%. We are licensed by the Department of Insurance and work in Illinois, Northwest Indiana, and Southern Wisconsin. Crosscom Public Adjusters, 630-871-5500. Online at crosscominc.com. That's crosscominc.com. Crosscom, building trust for over 20 years.
Have you been struggling to find an easy, safe, and secure document scanning solution for Salesforce.com, Microsoft 365, SharePoint, or OnBase by Highland? Your struggle is now over, and it's time to get your documents and operations into the 21st century. With IoT Smart Connected Scanning, it's easy to turn physical paper into digital documents and have them directly uploaded to the cloud with IoT Smart Connected Scanning from IDT. And you don't need a degree in computing or IT to make it happen. Using QR code technology uniquely configured for your specific business, anyone can set the IoT Smart Connected Scanning device up in 5 minutes or less, saving your organization money and valuable time. Remote employees can even capture documents and send them safely and seamlessly. Organize documents efficiently and securely with IoT Smart Connected Scanning from IDT. To see a demo or to order now, go to ready4idt.com. That's ready4idt.com. Use promo code SMART and receive 10% off your order. IDT, putting paper in its place.
When you're serious about your concealed carry training and education and are ready to learn from an active police officer with a teaching degree, check out Illinois Concealed Carry Training in Midlothian. You'll learn safe, responsible firearm use, home defense planning, conflict avoidance, situational awareness, and how to remain physically, morally, and financially safe in the event you must use your firearm in self-defense or the defense of another. Weekday and weekend classes available.
I'm Sergeant Gary Carr, police firearms trainer and the owner of Illinois Concealed Carry Training. We'll arm you with what really counts: knowledge and training. All concealed carry curriculums are not created equal. This may be the single most important decision you'll ever make for yourself and your loved ones. Choose between 3 and 16-hour classes that are available both weekdays and weekends. We are your one-stop for concealed carry classes, fingerprints, and legal defense plans.
Register for a class today and get 10% off class fees with promo code AM560. Visit IllinoisConcealedCarry.com. That's IllinoisConcealedCarry.com.
Portions of the following show may be pre-recorded.
This hourly segment is brought to you by CharlesEquipment.com. Keeping you powered up, no matter what the conditions. CharlesEquipment.com.
Listen to AM 560 The Answer online at 560theanswer.com, on the AM 560 mobile app, on your Alexa-powered smart speaker, and on TuneIn, iHeart, and on Odyssey. Now, from the Signature Bank Studios, this is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560 The Answer.
Top of the morning, Dan and Amy. Mayor Eric Johnson of Dallas, Texas, that's a Democrat in a Democrat city, every city over 250,000, 300,000 people, pretty much controlled by Democrats in this country. Writing in the Wall Street Journal over the weekend, American cities need Republicans, and Republicans need American cities. When my political hero, Teddy Roosevelt, was born, only 20% of Americans lived in urban areas. By the time he was elected, that went to 40. Today, it stands at 80. Well, now it's going in somewhat of a reverse. As American cities go, so goes America.
312-642-5600, turnkey.pro answer line, 64636. Type in DA, then a quick comment.
The top line is that American cities need Republicans, so he's becoming one.
I wonder what his aha moment was.
While Dallas has thrived, elsewhere Democratic policies have exacerbated crime and homelessness. Do tell, Mayor Johnson. I realize this will come as a surprise to many. During the decade I spent serving my hometown in the Texas House, I was a Democrat. I prided myself in finding common sense solutions, worked closely with my conservative colleagues to improve policing, public education, water infrastructure. Never a favorite of the Democratic caucus, and the feeling was mutual. By the time I was elected mayor, nonpartisan office, technically, just like it technically is in Chicago, but it's not. I was relieved to be free from, by the time he was elected, he writes, I was relieved to be free from hyperpartisanship and ready to focus on solving problems. A solutionist, Eric Johnson, the newly minted Republican mayor of Dallas, Texas. How about that?
I love this part of his piece in the Wall Street Journal. To me, this is something that should not alarm any member or citizen of Dallas. As if there's going to be some kind of uprising. We have a responsibility, and we're going to continue to serve. I know that's my commitment.
I wonder if that will precipitate any other reflection, not even just by office holders. I don't see BLM Brandon going to the Republican side of the aisle. I don't see Eric Adams doing that, although...
you know what? If there was going to be anyone that would do it, I think it would be him.
I'm sure there are some mid-sized mayors that would be mid-sized, mayors of mid-sized urban centers that would be more likely. But
Mayor of Denver?
But it's more interesting in terms of how that will be received in Dallas and if that prompts any reflection among voters. American cities need Republicans and Republicans need America's cities. This alleged symbiotic relationship, is that true? 312-642-5600, turnkey.pro answer line, 64636DA, turnkey.pro text line. Meanwhile, in this city, our mayor is being ridiculed by the same Wall Street Journal, although in the editorial pages. Well, that was not bad, too. But by the editorial board, he's not ridiculing himself. Being ridiculed, of course, because he's set to become Chicago's grocer magnate.
I got to tell you, I was in Utah over the weekend, and that's all anybody wanted to talk about. And they even said, well, what's going to be the name of the store? And I said, well, the host of Chicago's Morning Answer said, gimme dat.
Yeah, it's a part of the Gimme Dat family of companies. Your Gimme Dat real estate development in the financial district.
Right, it's going to lead into restaurants. But I mean,
right.
And I
Gimme
heard,
Dat Grocers will fund the Gimme Dat restaurant chain where
it'll be the Gimme Dat housing project.
You have no sub-minimum wage. It's only minimum wage, so that the house can keep a little bit more. Yeah, I mean, there's a whole. We were talking a bit about this on Friday. Ralph from Rantoul, our chief marketing officer.
Oh yes, that's
who
what
came up with the Gimme Dat name. We were starting to develop, the panoply of sectors we'd like the city to get involved in, and so there's some real promise there, I think. Maybe some promise on the Gimme Dat trading floors too, because. Another offering, this was over at Zero Hedge, I saw. Another suggestion that maybe that $800 million a year business known as the Chicago Mercantile Exchange, Chicago Board and Mercantile Exchange, there may still reflect on whether or not to stay here, even as a LaSalle Street tax doesn't seem in the near term, but it's still sort of hanging out there. And when you have Ralph Martiri of Roosevelt University, he's an academic, is he? Saying that the city cannot subsist on its current stream of revenue. No, of course not. It's got to be more. Always is. Always more. More is needed. And when you're going to spend, a few $100 million a year at least on all of our new friends from the world over, this welcoming city, that puts even more stress on your current revenue streams, doesn't it? Yeah. I don't know, that Eric Johnson, I don't know. It'd be interesting to see what reaction, or hear from him even, what reaction he's getting privately, not so much in Texas, where he's a known quantity, and obviously, as he indicated, maybe he's sort of an independent-minded guy. Well, obviously he's an independent-minded guy, but that has ruffled some feathers of Democrats in the state of Texas. But I wonder, conversations with other big city mayors, what the reactions
I wonder if
are.
Mayor Oscar Lesser from El Paso is next. I mean, he's beloved over there. He was mayor till 2017, left for some personal problems, and ran again and won by 80%. And he's had enough. I mean, they had the largest crossing of migrants in the history of crossings in August, and then just the other day, 2,000. And he's even saying help. He's even asking Governor, I need help. So they're bringing more buses in to take people out. There's not even enough room on the streets near District 2, which I know you guys don't know about it, but it's near Paisano Drive, and there's nowhere for people to go. It's an absolute invasion.
Jim and Sheboygan, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Yes, I think we should get a revenue source for the city and put together some T-shirts and some stickers that say, "Give me that," and under it, the answer. And I think we can market it, and I think it'll go over well with the city, and I think maybe the mayor will like it.
Yeah, I'm on the job on that. Thanks for the call, Jim. I've taken it upon myself to start to, you got to merchandise, you got to market. So we're working on that.
But as people pointed out that I was talking to, government-run grocery stores in like Venezuela, Nicaragua, the shelves are pretty much empty. So what's the point? I mean, it's not. You think that's going to work? Government doesn't work in general in Chicago, and having a grocery store chain is absolutely going to be a disaster.
Well, you just think about it. Maybe this is again a time for some quiet reflection, and you think about what it is you think the city or the state of Illinois does well. What's something that when you think of city government or you think of state government, I really feel like I'm getting value for my tax dollar. So
there's not one thing.
Well, just some quiet reflection on that.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
Listen to Dan and Amy on your smartphone. Download the AM 560 mobile app today at 560theanswer.com/mobile.
It seems like everyone is on a complicated diet these days. Gluten-free, keto, metabolic, sugar-free. And with these diets comes special dietary protocol and food products. You can find plenty of advice on your social media sites, but you need expertise to purchase the right food items. A visit to Lil's Dietary Specialty Shop is necessary to shop the best food choices for a medical diet or health plan. Lil's Dietary Specialty Shop stocks all the hard-to-find foods you're looking for, like wheat and dairy alternatives, sugar-free baking mixes, healthy snacks, and more. There's no longer a reason to put off that diet you're supposed to be on when you have Lil's. The staff has personally researched and vetted each item in the store and has plenty of choices in stock.
Lil's Dietary Specialty Shop on 111th Street in Mount Greenwood on the south side of Chicago. Stop in and shop in person or order online at lilsdietary.com and get your items shipped right to your home. lilsdietary.com. Shop, learn, and be healthy.
Hi, this is Carl Amari.
I'm Lisa Wolf. Join us every Saturday night beginning at 8 p.m. for all things entertainment on Hollywood 360.
If you love classic radio shows, The Shadow, Jack Benny, The Lone Ranger, Dragnet, Gunsmoke, and many more, we have them for you on Hollywood 360.
We'll also present trivia contests with prizes, showbiz news, celebrity interviews, games, and movie reviews.
So don't miss Hollywood 360 every Saturday night beginning at 8 p.m. on AM 560, The Answer.
Ask any old football player or fan, and they'll tell you offense wins games, but defense wins championships. Sean Thompson here, and you know who else knows that. It's Tom Fortino of Alpha Wealth Group. He knows winning doesn't just happen. It's a result of having a good coach who draws up the right strategy and then makes adjustments along the way. So think of Tom as your retirement defensive coordinator, protecting your retirement savings against inflation, market loss, or a pick six from Uncle Sam. With Tom's complimentary retirement roadmap, you'll find out what's working in your game plan or what's not. If you're serious about winning in retirement, call 630-934-1855. Ask for the retirement roadmap. That's 630-934-1855. Or find Tom online at alphawealthgroup.com and listen to the Alpha Wealth Hour right here on AM 560 The Answer, Saturday mornings at 9 a.m.
Advisory services through Retirement Wealth Advisors, LLC, RWA, an SEC registered investment advisor. RWA and Alpha Wealth Group are independent of each other. Insurance and annuities offered through Alpha Wealth Group, licensed in Illinois.
A great smile can make you feel happy and confident. So when you consciously conserve your teeth, that glowing smile will show through. At Best Dental Group, Doctors Economos, Gavalis, and their staff are ready to help you create that perfect look or maintain the one you have now. Along with general dentistry, Best Dental Group is a multidisciplined practice with an orthodontist, periodontist, and prosthetic specialists on site. They use the newest breakthroughs in dental technology, such as titanium implants, Invisalign clear braces, and laser treatments. Don't let fear get in the way. They can recommend sedation to make your experience as comfortable as possible. Best Dental Group is located in historic downtown Bartlett and is a multilingual office. Call 630-830-4930. That's 630-830-4930. Or visit bestdental.org. Best Dental Group, sharing your conservative values and helping you to conserve your teeth.
This is Carol Platt-Liebau for townhall.com. Republicans have long argued that the legacy media simply does the bidding of the Biden White House. The Biden White House inadvertently showed it agrees with them. After House Republicans opened an impeachment inquiry, a White House spokesman issued a memo to news outlets telling the media how to cover the story. This defies belief. In America, the government isn't supposed to be telling our supposedly free press how to cover the news. But then again, this is the administration that was caught censoring social media coverage of stories unfavorable to it. Just as bad as the administration's arrogant meddling is the media's meek response. A free press worth its salt should have been outraged at any government official daring to tell them how to do their job. Instead, all we heard were the sounds of silence. And that's too pathetic for words. I'm Carol Platt-Liebau.
Publicpolicy.pepperdine.edu. AM 560. The Answer.
All right, coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Education Secretary Miguel Cardona is tired of you misbehaving parents. Speaking of T-shirts, I can see I'm a misbehaving parent T-shirt becoming popular after what Cardona said, 538.
And at least we're not Denver Broncos football fans. Mike will explain, but now let's head into that newsroom. Good morning, Mike. How are you?
Well, it's who the Bears play next.
Oh, so the Broncos?
They do play the Broncos next.
A heck of a game.
Yeah.
What's
It'll
the
be
spread in Vegas? I can't wait to hear about it.
Broncos are favored right now.
Oh.
Yeah, already. 67 degrees at 532. The bipartisan House Problem Solvers Caucus making some news overnight. It says it has one objective: to keep the lights on. On CNN's State of the Union, New Jersey Democrat Josh Gottmeyer and Pennsylvania Republican Congressman Brian Fitzpatrick say they're pushing a new bill.
They want us to sit down in the room, just like our personal relationships, just like we manage our families and our businesses. You sit down at the table and you figure it out. So-called Keep America Open bill on the House floor is in time, they say, to avoid a small, partial government shutdown. A tentative deal between the Writers Guild and Hollywood's top studios has been reached. Writers assistant Tom Whalen says the tentative deal is a step toward the SAG-AFTRA's actors' strike coming to an end, too.
It made me feel really hopeful for the SAG strike because it was like there wasn't even a chance with the SAG strike until the WGA strike ended. So it's at least a nice horizon,
The Guild,
sun on the horizon.
The Guild releasing a statement Sunday saying the deal was made possible by solidarity and backing of unions around the country. Canadian unionized auto workers belonging to Unifor have ratified a new 3-year contract with Ford. The Canadian workers get a 15% raise over 3 years and better pensions. Meantime, the president is set to join the UAW on the picket lines this week, traveling to Michigan Tuesday. Texas officials are announcing a new shelter to house illegal immigrants amid an ongoing surge at the border. El Paso Mayor Oscar Lesser says the city is opening an additional shelter right at the border. The first asteroid sample collected in space by NASA is back on Earth.
Touchdown. I repeat, EDL. FRC has touchdown.
NASA's OSIRIS-REx spacecraft releasing a capsule containing soil from the asteroid Bennu, which was then safely parachuted into the Utah desert Sunday west of Salt Lake. The robotic spacecraft was launched way back in 2016 and landed on the asteroid in 2020, going through space over 1 billion miles. Chicago police are increasing patrols this morning in and around DePaul's Lincoln Park campus after several students were robbed over the weekend near the quad at West Belton and North Seminary and the intersection of West Belton and Racine. At least 29 people have been shot, 3 fatally in weekend gun violence across the city, including an 86-year-old man killed in the Auburn Gresham neighborhood.
It's heartbreaking that he's no longer here for stupidity.
Police say Charles Hobson Sr. was getting something out of his truck when he was shot, and his truck was stolen. 3 young people were found nearby and taken into custody. Bears remain winless following a 41-10 loss to Kansas City at Arrowhead. Head coach Matt Eberflus says the turmoil of the past week didn't have much of an effect on the team.
I didn't feel that it was effective, affecting us at all, to be honest with you. That locker room is tight, and it's going to have to be tight now. I mean, there's going to be a lot of outside noise, and we got to do a great job of just staying together.
They host the Sad Sack Broncos on Sunday. 3 were wounded over the weekend following a shooting in downtown Champaign. Police say the shots were fired early yesterday. An 18-year-old from Fort Worth, Texas, a man from Donna, Texas, hospitalized with gunshot wounds, and also a man from Gary, Indiana, arrived at the hospital with a gunshot wound to the arm. Patrick Wisdom mashes a go-ahead home run in the 6th inning. Cubs beat the Rockies 4-3 in the series finale at Wrigley Field. Wisdom homering on his daughter's birthday. And the Cubs, now a solid 1 game ahead of Miami for 3rd in the NL wildcard race. White Sox beat the Red Sox 3-2, claiming the rubber match in 6 innings of that rain-shortened finale. The news service of Woodland Windows and Doors. Attend their upcoming window school Saturday, September 30th, where you'll learn the essentials about replacing windows with solutions from Marvin Windows. A check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
Freedom Summit Chicago tickets are now on sale. Join AM 560, The Answer, on November 11th at the Westin Chicago Northwest for Freedom Summit, featuring Rand Paul, Judge Janine Pirro from Fox News, Dan Proft, Amy Jacobson, Sean Thompson, and many more. Tickets are on sale now at freedomsummitchicago.com. That's freedomsummitchicago.com. Sponsored in part by Best Dental Group of Bartlett, the Illinois Family Institute, and by Alpha Wealth Group.
Do you hear the crowd cheering as the ball hits the hardwood floor? This is the moment. With only 5 seconds left on the clock, you pull up for the game-winning shot. You watch it soar through the air, just for it to fall short because of the exhaustion from playing all night. Don't let this be you. Fuel your body with whole fruits and vegetables to play hard through the night and end the game with a swish. Start your journey to better health with Balance of Nature. Call 1-800-246-8751 or go to balanceofnature.com to get 35% off your first order as a preferred customer with free shipping and our money-back guarantee. That's 1-800-246-8751. Go to balanceofnature.com or call 1-800-246-8751 and get this special offer by using discount code CHICAGO.
When this is the sound of a crackling campfire on a cool evening, you can sit back and relax. But when it's the sound of your counters and cabinets smoking and smoldering following a house fire that's affected your entire kitchen, you need to pick up the phone and call 1-800-SERVPRO. Only the cleanup and restoration specialists at ServPro can help make fire and water damage like it never even happened. So make the call to 1-800-ServPro when fire damage strikes. Franchises are independently owned and operated.
Hi, I'm Test Director Rick from ServPro, the leader in cleaning, restoration, and construction. It's my job to make sure our pros are prepared for anything. Storm damage? Fixed. Flood damage? We're on it. Fire damage? Not anymore. Aliens? What aliens? We cleaned those sites a while ago. No matter the disaster, our pros will make it like it never even happened. Find out why ServPro is the #1 choice for residential and commercial restoration projects large and small. Visit servpro.com today.
539, check of the roads, always in our Team Hochberg Traffic Center. It is a service of the Pride stores with 17 locations throughout Chicagoland. Stop by their newest location, The Pride of Kane County, St. Charles, Kirk and Maine. Weekly grand opening specials, exciting raffles. The Pride stores, not your typical convenience store. We'll start on the Kennedy. Right now, 27 minutes, O'Hare into the Burns Circle interchange. Dan Ryan, 15 minutes, 95th into the Burns Circle. Jane Addams jammed up eastbound Randall to Route 31 due to an earlier accident. And we are seeing that the Reagan I-88 eastbound between Peace Road and Route 47 remains completely shut down due to a fatal accident that occurred in the overnight hours. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next. Variable clouds in your forecast. Showers are expected in the area, high 76. 67 right now. Next news at 6. Chicago's Morning Answer continues next on AM 560 The Answer.
Listen to AM 560 The Answer online at 560theanswer.com, on the AM 560 mobile app, on your Alexa-powered smart speaker, and on TuneIn, iHeart, and on Odyssey. Now, from the Signature Bank Studios, this is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson. Only the biggest stories, only the biggest guests, and only the biggest opinions. This is AM 560, The Answer.
Top of the morning, Dan and Amy. Matt Gaetz was on with Maria Bartiromo yesterday to talk about this quote-unquote government shutdown, the prospect of a quote-unquote government shutdown, which, as you know, as I know, as we know, having lived on this planet for a minute, we've had 21 of these over the last half century, including under Trump just a few years ago. And it's always what? It's always the temporary paid vacation of a quarter to a fifth of the federal workforce.
Right, and they say millions of Americans are at risk of losing their paychecks by the end of the week if Congress can't work out a deal, yada, yada, yada.
Mm-hmm.
But eventually they will get paid.
I don't care. And the issue is really one between Matt Gaetz and Kevin McCarthy, Matt Gaetz being the most outspoken critic of how Kevin McCarthy has handled this, that Kevin McCarthy is not honoring his commitment that the committee made in January to get the support he needed to become Speaker, to do single subject bills for up or down votes. And this is the only way to stop or at least slow down the runaway spending in D.C. Well, this was a point of contention because Bartiromo, like many Republicans, thinks Gaetz is grandstanding, and he's interfering with the Republicans' winning messaging right now on the economy, on Biden Incorporated. Majority of Americans think Biden is corrupt. They think he's too old for the job. They don't like the way the country is going. They feel less economically secure than when Biden took office, which is why Trump's up 9 points on Biden in this latest ABC Washington Post poll. So it's all going well, the story goes. And Matt Gaetz is the skunk at the garden party. Is that right? 312-642-5600, turnkey.pro answer line. 64636DA, turnkey.pro text line. Here's sort of Gaetz's view on this in summary as he presented on Maria Bartiromo show yesterday.
Now joining us, one of the people holding up an agreement to fund the government, Florida Republican Congressman Matt Gaetz. Congressman, thank you very much for being here this morning.
Thank you. I'm glad I get to respond to your monologue, because if you're saying that I'm standing in the way of all the Republican wins, I'd love you to enumerate them. Watching my friend and mentor Jim Jordan, it was quite painful, because he started by saying we should only pick one fight, the border. But then as the interview went on, he said, well, we should pick a second fight, Jack Smith. And by the time the interview rounded out, he was saying that we shouldn't be funding Ukraine without a plan. And yet the very continuing resolution that you and Jim Jordan seem to be for continues to have $300 million more for Ukraine. So I think we ought to fight on all fronts. I think the border is very important, and the best way for us to advance the Republican border policies is to pass the Department of Homeland Security Appropriations Bill, do that along with veterans, defense, ag, state and foreign ops. We'll have 73% of the discretionary budget funded, and if, the Department of Labor and Education have to shut down for a few days as we get their appropriations in line, that's certainly not something that is optimal, but I think it's better than continuing on the current path we are to America's financial ruin.
312-642-5600, turnkey.pro answer line, 64636DA, turnkey.pro text line. Are you persuaded? Is Gates doing the right thing, publicly holding McCarthy's feet to the fire? That's what he would say. Or is he being a grandstanding obstructionist, as probably McCarthy would say, quietly, and many Republicans are saying less quietly?
I don't know. What do you think, Dan?
Well, let's get Bartiromo's response.
Okay.
Let's get the full debate here. Bartiromo's response, Gates said, these GOP wins you speak of, enumerate them. Here's her enumeration.
Well, how about the fact that he has set up a weaponization committee to investigate the DOJ, whether they're involved in a cover-up?
That's
how about
process.
the fact that he has, hold on,
Wait
how
a
about
second.
the fact that he, hold on, how about the fact that he has set up the China Select Committee to keep China to account, and of course, he has launched this inquiry into impeachment, potentially, for President Biden. Is that not what you want?
None of those things are deliverables. Those are steps in a process. Setting up a committee is an end unto itself, only in Washington, D.C.
But
the American
these
people demand results. Hold on, I'll let you talk,
okay,
Maria.
go ahead.
These committees have done nothing to reduce inflation. They've done nothing to actually constrain the Biden government. We can set up committees and have hearings and yell at people, but at the end of the day, if we still send the check to fund a weaponized government, having a weaponization subcommittee is little relief to the American people. And if any of this was serious, we would be sending out subpoenas and compelling process the way the January 6th committee did. We should be operating like them. Instead, we're playing patty cake with the Bidens. We're allowing them to get away with it. And we're funding it. We're sending the money. If we were serious, use the power of the purse.
All right, now what do you think?
I think he's grandstanding. I just do. And I know his political future. I don't know if it's official or not, but that he wants to run for governor of Florida when DeSantis' term is out. And he's not working with other Republicans. He's not doing what's best for the party. And I understand the Ukraine, funding Ukraine and all of that. But that's not really what he's pointing out here.
I'm of two minds a bit on Gates, and also generally speaking, and also in this instance. I mean, he's certainly right that setting up a committee is not an accomplishment. Right. That's not a deliverable. Only in D.C. is that a deliverable. It's what you produce in furtherance of what you said you were going to investigate, find, accomplish. Right. The committee is the vehicle to do something. Along the lines of a promise you made, ostensibly. But I still think, as I said last week when we got to this discussion with Steve Moore and others, I still think that there was an opportunity here to turn this back around on the electorate and say, look, this thing, just don't spend a lot of time worrying about this hysteria the media is always trying to induce on these matters. But if you want things to change in this country, if you don't like the direction this administration has taken the economy, for example, if you feel less economically secure than you did before he took office, as we know you do based on the polling, then you may want to think about continuing to support Democrat senators and, by extension, Chuck Schumer as the Senate Majority Leader. You may want to consider stopping. Hey, suburbanites, you may want to consider to stop supporting socialists in places like the western suburbs of Chicago, who are going to go to D.C. and support a Speaker Jeffries, or who knows, maybe a Speaker Pelosi, since she's running again. Regardless, if you want us to, if you're truly serious about these things, then you can't make it make sense. You're not being honest with yourself when you turn around and you support the Sean Castons and the Lauren Underwoods and the Brad Schneiders of the world in places like Bill Foster's, in places like Illinois, Chicagoland. And we can go state by state and give the examples in suburban Milwaukee and suburban Atlanta, and so on and so forth. These suburbs are urban centers that essentially have become the base of the extended base of the Democrat Socialist Party in this country. It seems to me like such an opportunity for both Gaetz and McCarthy in the Republican caucus to communicate with a single voice on this topic and avoid some of this this public spatting. It doesn't bother me, but I just think there's a bigger, better play here.
I mean, AOC now is refusing whether to say she'll help Gaetz oust Kevin McCarthy. And she said, she was on CBS Face the Nation, that she'll cross that bridge when we get to it.
She's irrelevant. She's completely irrelevant. You think that Gaetz is going to partner with the Democrats? You think that would help his political future if he partnered with Democrats to oust McCarthy? Of course, he's not going to partner with AOC. This is an internal matter. But I think Gaetz trying to depose McCarthy is a bridge too far. That's grandstanding. All right, Corey and Woodlawn, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Hey, good morning, Dan and Amy. There's a great line in the movie Coming to America where Eddie Murphy.
Amy's never seen it.
You're going to bring that up.
Yeah, he tells them, if you have no more money, you can cause more mischief. And that's pretty much all they're doing in D.C. It's causing multiple rounds of mischief. Gaetz is right. We have to slow down the spigot of money to D.C.
Thanks, Corey. Well, that's a good reference, and you're right that he's right. He is right, what he's saying in principle, but then there's sort of the political reality. And so taking his criticism of McCarthy and turning it back on him, right? I mean, beating the drum is not accomplishing anything either. You have a problem in terms of the distribution of power in D.C. You have a majority of Democrats and spendthrift Republicans in the Senate, and you've got a narrow majority of Republicans in the House, and of course we know who's in the White House. So the idea that you're going to do something paradigm shifting on spending here, you just don't have the votes. So that's why it seems to me the bigger, better play is a unified call for a lot of suburbanites around metro areas in this country, and a lot of urban dwellers too, to get their heads out of their asses and perhaps deliver it just as plainly as that. Craig in Mount Greenwood, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Hey, good morning, Dan and Amy, and thank you very much for taking my call. Okay, hopefully Gaetz is not grandstanding because, listen, there's never any substantive accountability with these Democrats. No matter what McCarthy promised and talked about, no follow-through. All talk, no action. The Republicans, there's never anything. It's all a bunch of bulldunk from these people. They talk. Hopefully it's not, and everything like that, and hopefully there's some accountability somewhere with something that they keep talking about, because Democrats get away with all of their garbage against Republicans constantly.
Thanks for the call, Craig. Frank in Arlington Heights, by the way, we are workshopping the Frank in Arlington Heights History Minute.
Oh, is this for Freedom Summit? Is it a breakout
No.
session?
We're gonna be featuring it on the show, the History Minute. So we're working that out. We still have to do some branding. Frank has to decide what nom de plume he wants to use.
Similar to your 60 seconds of sanity.
Yeah.
And my 30 seconds of crazy.
Yeah, maybe we should bring that back too.
Yeah.
All right, Frank in Arlington
I'm
Heights.
going 45 this time.
Well, good morning. Sounds like a great opportunity. Looking forward to it.
Yeah.
Appreciate it.
Yeah. Maybe we'll call it "Gimme Dat History" with Frank from Arlington Heights.
Well, I don't know about that. But,
Yeah, all right. Well, we'll continue workshopping. All right, go ahead.
Anyway, we're still in the age of Roosevelt. Roosevelt, I said it the right way. And Johnson too. I mean, all the programs that he created, and those are both viewed as really good presidents today. Much like Louis XIV, was viewed by a lot of people as a great king of France back in the 1600s, 1700s, but he created all that debt, and that just continued under Louis XV and Louis XVI, and look where that led to in France. And now today, most people would recognize Louis XIV as, being somebody who just spent a lot of money and drove his country eventually into bankruptcy.
Right.
Like
the Roosevelts did.
I mean, yeah, like Roosevelt and Johnson and the progressives have done. I mean, we have $33 trillion in debt. Right now, they're viewed as great, but 50 years from now, who knows? Where is this going to lead us to? I don't know.
Thanks for the call, Frank.
It's what Chicago is talking about. It's Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy on AM 560. The Answer.
Ask any old football player or fan, and they'll tell you offense wins games, but defense wins championships. Sean Thompson here, and you know who else knows that. It's Tom Fortino of Alpha Wealth Group. He knows winning doesn't just happen. It's a result of having a good coach who draws up the right strategy and then makes adjustments along the way. So think of Tom as your retirement defensive coordinator, protecting your retirement savings against inflation, market loss, or a pick six from Uncle Sam. With Tom's complimentary retirement roadmap, you'll find out what's working in your game plan or what's not. If you're serious about winning in retirement, call 630-934-1855. Ask for the retirement roadmap. That's 630-934-1855. Or find Tom online at alphawealthgroup.com and listen to the Alpha Wealth Hour right here on AM 560 The Answer, Saturday mornings at 9 a.m.
Advisory services through Retirement Wealth Advisors, LLC, RWA, an SEC registered investment advisor. RWA and Alpha Wealth Group are independent of each other. Insurance and annuities offered through Alpha Wealth Group, licensed in Illinois.
This is Carol Platt-Liebau for townhall.com. Republicans have long argued that the legacy media simply does the bidding of the Biden White House. The Biden White House inadvertently showed it agrees with them. After House Republicans opened an impeachment inquiry, a White House spokesman issued a memo to news outlets telling the media how to cover the story. This defies belief. In America, the government isn't supposed to be telling our supposedly free press how to cover the news. But then again, this is the administration that was caught censoring social media coverage of stories unfavorable to it. Just as bad as the administration's arrogant meddling is the media's meek response. A free press worth its salt should have been outraged at any government official daring to tell them how to do their job. Instead, all we heard were the sounds of silence. And that's too pathetic for words. I'm Carol Platt-Liebau.
Publicpolicy.pepperdine.edu.
Hi, it's Randy Donnelly from Donnelly Auctions in Union, Illinois, and I want to talk to you about your unused basement rec rooms. We all had them back in the 60s and 70s with jukeboxes, pinballs, and slot machines, Coca-Cola signs, and even gas pumps. We all had a great time in those days, but fast forward, and I'll bet you haven't gone down there in years. That's where I can help by turning those items into cash through Donnelly Auctions. We have thousands of customers online eager to bid on your items, and it's easier than you might think. Just give me a call at 815-923-7000, and I'll make those items fit in your wallet. Look us up online at DonnellyAuctions.com to see all of the items that we can sell for you. Give me a call today at 815-923-7000, and don't forget to check out the Donnelly Auctions Hour Saturdays at 1 o'clock on AM 560. Subscribe and check out the podcast too. I'm Randy Donnelly, and I'll see you at the auction.
Balance of Nature, changing the world one life at a time.
I'm telling you, I love these. I have so many benefits from this. I should be your testimony on TV because they have done so much for me. It really helped me so much.
I've noticed some improvements over time. I noticed that I used to eat a lot of cookies and snack between meals, and I've stopped doing that because I just don't feel a desire to do that. My energy lasts longer, I have more endurance, and a number of things I'm happy with.
Start your journey to better health with Balance of Nature. Call 1-800-246-8751 or go to balanceofnature.com to get 35% off your first preferred order with free shipping and our money-back guarantee. That's 1-800-246-8751. Go to balanceofnature.com or call 1-800-246-8751 and get this special offer by using discount code CHICAGO.
Visit Dennis Prager. Sign up today for an unforgettable experience in Israel this October. Mike Gallagher and I are traveling to the Holy Land on the Stand with Israel tour with our trusted partner, Inspiration Cruises and Tours. This trip of a lifetime to Israel is one you don't want to miss. Register today before it's too late at standwithisraeltour.com, standwithisraeltour.com, or call 855-565-5519. 855-565-5519.
AM 560, The Answer.
All right, coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer.
All right, at 6:06, we'll get to those unruly parents, these misbehaving parents that Secretary Cardona speaks of, 6:06.
And later, are you in more pain if you're a Bears fan or a Broncos fan? But now let's head into the newsroom. Here is Mike Scott.
Several DePaul students are robbed. CPD investigating other robberies in the South Deering neighborhood. And WIND Chicago News Time is 6 o'clock.
They finally might start writing again. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News. The Writers Guild has worked out a tentative deal with studios to end their strike.
So for nearly 5 months now, writers and later actors have halted Hollywood, seeking pay hikes for streamed content as well as increased job security. The contract still has to be finalized and eventually ratified by the Guild's 11,000 members. So writers haven't advised has been made yet for actors, so writers have been encouraged to remain on the picket lines in support.
Fox's Alexandria Hoff. This is the 11th day of the auto workers strike that was expanded Friday. President Biden will go to Michigan tomorrow to walk the picket line.
Transportation Secretary Pete Buttigieg on ABC's This Week said,
the president, this administration, we are not at the bargaining table, but we are with workers.
President Biden calls himself America's most pro-union president ever, but another potential candidate seeks UAW backing as former President Donald Trump will meet with workers as well this week.
Fox's Gernal Scott. A new ABC News Washington Post poll gives former President Trump a 10-point lead over President Biden among registered voters. In the Republican race, the Trump lead over Ron DeSantis is 39 points. The rest of the GOP candidates in single digits. 3 for Chris Christie, who tells NBC's Meet the Press.
The fact is that national polls don't matter. We don't have a national primary.
The next presidential debate's Wednesday on Fox Business without former President Trump. He'll skip like the first one. Fox News Radio will be providing special coverage beginning at 7 p.m. Eastern Time. You can listen at foxnewsradio.com. A month and a half after a deadly Hawaii wildfire, some residents will be allowed to go back to the burnt-out town of Lahaina and supervised visits.
We really want to help guide them out there, provide them the support, but also provide them the privacy, that space and quiet.
Maui Emergency Management Interim Administrator Daryl Oliveira. The fire's blamed for 97 deaths. A few dozen others remain missing. America's listening to Fox.
67 degrees, 6:02 on AM 560, The Answer, and good morning. I'm Mike Scott. Chicago police are increasing patrols around DePaul's Lincoln Park campus after several students were robbed. Officials say the robberies happened early yesterday near the Quad at West Belden and Seminary and at the intersection of West Belden and North Racine. Meantime, Chicago police are investigating a string of armed robberies in the South Deering neighborhood. At least 7 were reported Sunday morning. Over the weekend, violence in the city claimed 3 lives in gun violence, 29 shot, including an 86-year-old man shot and killed in the Auburn Gresham neighborhood.
He went to get something out the car and never made it back in the house.
Police say Charles Hobson Sr. was getting something out of that truck when he was shot, and the truck was stolen. Later, police took 3 into custody, found nearby. The Bears remained winless following a 41-10 loss to the Chiefs at Arrowhead. Bears head coach Matt Eberflus.
I didn't feel that it was effective. It was tight, and it's going to have to be tight now. I mean, there's going to be a lot of outside noise, and we got to do a great job of just staying together.
The head coach saying the turmoil of the past week didn't have much of an effect on the team. However, more details are being revealed about last week's departure of Bears defensive coordinator Alan Williams. ESPN reporting that Williams' resignation was due in part to inappropriate activity. Patrick Wisdom mashed a go-ahead home run in the sixth as the Cubs beat the Rockies 4-3 in the series finale at Wrigley Field. White Sox over the Red Sox 3-2. Week 3 of the NFL concludes tonight. It's a doubleheader as the Eagles take on Tampa Bay and the Rams square off with the Bengals. The news, a service of Dan and Amy 24/7, around the clock all day, every day. Listen now. danandamy247.com. A check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
Gas prices are still too high, and AM 560 and the Pride stores want to help ease your pain at the pump. Every Thursday morning in September, we're giving away $50 gift cards from the Pride stores to the first 56 customers who pump at least 5 gallons of gas between 7 and 8 a.m. at a specially selected location. To find out where, listen to Chicago's Morning Answer at 6:30 a.m. on Thursday morning. Then show up, fill up, and you could win a $50 gift card courtesy of the Pride stores at AM 560. The Answer.
The Tunnel to Towers Foundation delivers on its promise to do good and never forget the sacrifices of America's greatest heroes. Heroes who risk their lives for our communities and our country. Heroes like United States Marine Corps Captain and pilot John Jeremy Sachs. He sustained fatal injuries when his military aircraft crashed during training. Tunnel to Towers provided his wife and 2 daughters with a mortgage-free home. Join Tunnel to Towers on its mission to do good in their honor. Donate $11 a month at T2T.org.
All right, this just in, Pure Talk just added more 5G data to every plan and is now including a mobile hotspot with no price increase at all whatsoever. Just $20 a month for unlimited talk, unlimited text, and now 50% more 5G data, plus you get mobile hotspot. Start saving today. Go to puretalk.com, enter the promo code Sean, S-E-A-N, to make the switch to Pure Talk, and you do it now, you'll save an additional 50% off your first month. That's puretalk.com, promo code Sean.
Urgent Camp Lejeune settlement message. On September 6th, the government announced it will soon begin providing fast, guaranteed settlements to Camp Lejeune Marines, families, and civilians. Awards will range between $100,000 and $550,000, with an option for higher amounts. If you or a loved one spent time at Camp Lejeune and suffered cancers of the bladder, liver, or kidneys, leukemia, non-Hodgkin's lymphoma, Parkinson's, or kidney issues, you may qualify for compensation and could be paid within 60 days after accepting your settlement, with your VA benefits fully protected. You may be entitled to a significant financial award for your Camp Lejeune claim, but you must act now. Call the James Harris Law Camp Lejeune helpline now to get the compensation you deserve. We're already fighting for thousands harmed by the water at Camp Lejeune. Call now or you may forever lose your right to be awarded a settlement between $100,000 and $550,000. For your free evaluation, call 800-299-7878. That's 800-299-7878. 800-299-7878.
6:06. Let's get an update on the roads. Team Hochberg Traffic Center time. On the Kennedy, you have 28 minutes on your commute from O'Hare into the Burns Circle interchange. Outbound on the Kennedy, 41 already as you travel out, 31 as you travel outbound to the big airport, 41 on the inbound Ike. From 390 to the old post office, early heavies between Mannheim and East due to an accident. Dan Ryan coming inbound, stop and go in the express between 43rd and the Stevenson, and the Reagan eastbound between Peace Road and Route 47, that's I-88, remains shut down due to a fatal accident that occurred in the overnight hours. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next. AM 560 Weather Center forecast with Steve Williams.
Variable cloudiness. We could come up with a shower today. Look for a high of 76. Clouds and a brief shower tonight. Low 62. Clouds, rain, thunderstorm for tomorrow. The high 69. Cloudy with a passing shower on Wednesday. The high again 69. I'm Steve Williams on AM 560. The Answer.
67 at O'Hare, 68 at Midway, and your next news update is at 6:30. Chicago's Morning Answer continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by ServPro, the #1 choice in cleanup and restoration. Visit servpro.com.
Listen to AM 560 The Answer online at 560theanswer.com, on the AM 560 mobile app, on your Alexa-powered smart speaker, and on TuneIn, iHeart, and on Odyssey. Now, from the Signature Bank Studios, this is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560 The Answer.
Top of the morning, Dan and Amy. Which team are you on? Education Secretary Miguel Cardona wants to know. What team are you on?
312-642-5600, turnkey.pro. Answer line 64636. Type in DA, then a quick comment.
There are two teams, and here's your choice.
So can you please tell me, or can you please define for me, what is a woman?
Our focus at the department is to provide
that's the old
equal access.
Cardona. We'll get to the old Cardona, just giving you background on who he is. But here are the two choices. Which team you're on?
You know, I've been in education, about 25 years, not including the time I was in higher ed as a student. I've never seen it where it is now. There was civility. We could disagree. We could have healthy conversations around what's best for kids. I respect differences of opinion. I don't have too much respect for people that are misbehaving in public and then acting as if they know what's right for kids. Or people that have a problem when we're trying to provide some support to folks who are buried in debt and complain about a $10,000 support for thousands of their constituents, but are okay taking over $1 million in loan forgiveness themselves as an elected official. That hypocrisy, I want to call it out at the top of this conversation, because there's a team that's fighting for kids and there's a team that's fighting against kids.
Which team are you on? The team fighting for kids or the team fighting against kids? I assume Miguel Cardona is saying he's on the team that's fighting for kids. Of course, Cardona wouldn't be able to tell you who's on that team, at least wouldn't be able to tell you the sex, because per that other clip I started playing, Miguel Cardona, who's been in education.
Not including his own time in school.
For 25
okay,
years.
Thank you.
Yeah, that doesn't include my time at, from K through college. Yeah. Okay.
Thanks, Miguel.
He doesn't, he testified before Congress under questioning from Congressman Andrew Clyde from Georgia. And he had the same problem with that trick question that KBJ, Supreme Court Justice KBJ had, remember?
So can you please tell me, or can you please define for me, what is a woman?
Our focus at the department is to provide equal access to students, including students who are LGBTQ, access free from discrimination.
Okay, is that, so what's the definition of a woman? You haven't given me that. You haven't answered my question.
I think that's almost secondary to the important role that I have as Secretary of Education.
My question is not secondary. My question is very simple. What does HHS say the definition of a woman is?
I lead the Department of Education, and my job is to make sure that all students have access to public education, which includes co-curricular activities. And I think you highlighted pretty well the importance of Title IX and giving students equal access, whether it's scholarship and facilities.
Okay, so you're not going to answer my question.
Sir.
No, he's not going to answer your question. Fighting for kids or fighting against kids? Although he laments the loss of civility. And he can, of course, agree to disagree with people. But if you disagree with them, then you're on the team fighting against kids.
And he rips, quote unquote, misbehaving parents acting like they know what's right for kids. We're their parents. We're in control of the kids, not the government.
I just love the whole, look, I can have productive disagreements with people. I respect people's opinions, even those that don't agree with me. And I just have to let them know that they're on the team that's fighting against kids if they disagree with me, because that's how fair-minded I am.
This guy is so tone deaf. I met Miguel Cardona when he was driving around a bus. I think it was 2 years ago. Welcome back to school bus. And he's sitting there in Chicago on the west side. And I said to him, you're driving around this bus. There's 17,000 plus kids at home right now locked out of government schools because, quote unquote, they were close contacts. They don't even have COVID. So what is the celebration for? And then he gave some bull jive answer. And they're like, press conference is over. And then they got him back on the bus. Ugh.
So
he's a puppet. He's a clown like you would bring to a block party.
There's some things happening on the K through 12 front that Miguel Cardona may want to take judicial notice of.
Yes.
Parents misbehaving and some legislators misbehaving too. The team that's fighting against kids. On Friday, North Carolina became the 10th state to approve universal school choice. The Dem Socialist governor there, Roy Cooper, who is a wholly owned subsidiary of the teachers union, like most of the politicians in Illinois, he is not going to veto it because he's going to be overridden if he does. Thanks to a flip. Here we go. We started the show with the flip. We got another one. Representative Tricia Cotham, former Democrat, who became a Republican, giving Republicans the 3/5 House majority they need to override Roy Cooper's prospective veto on expanding school choice to all in North Carolina, increasing the funding by a factor of 3. All North Carolinians are eligible, and then the amount of the scholarship declines as the household income increases, which is fine, fair enough. But Tricia Cotham, she sends her son to private school, and she said that, by the way, so does Roy Cooper, sends his daughter to private school.
Of course he does.
Tricia Cotham said, though, that unlike the governor, as a policymaker and a mom, she would be a hypocrite if she voted to deny her constituents the same choice she has. So she crossed the aisle to become a Republican in April. Oh. That's the team fighting against kids. So Miguel Cardona and his teachers union bosses would say, wouldn't they? Texas. Teachers unions, actually, it's a fight everywhere. Teachers unions were able to prevent universal school choice from moving through the Texas state legislature, but Governor Greg Abbott is calling a special session next month to pass universal school choice for every child. And here again is another opportunity to challenge the voters. If you think this is right and proper, and you would like to access these opportunities for your kids that you can't otherwise access because of the cost, then maybe you want to think about not supporting teachers union flunkies for state legislative offices and for federal offices for that matter too. But of course here, this is mainly a state issue. Makes a big difference. For example, compare what's happening in North Carolina, what's happening in Texas, what's happening now in 22 states. Yeah, I think that's where we're at. To what's happening in Chicago, what's happening in Illinois. I mean, we've gone through this many times, but here again, it's revenue they need, they say. As results we want, we say, and then there's this disconnect. They get the money, your money, they take your money, they don't produce the results, they get reelected. That's a problem, and that's on the voters. Our friend Ted Dabrowski over at wirepoints.org, some new analysis of Chicago. Just in 4 years, the per pupil spending, 2019 to 2023, has increased by almost 50%.
And what have we gotten from that? I mean, nothing. I think conditions have gotten worse.
The percent of students proficient in reading has gone down among every demographic. It's gone down in total. It's gone down. I mean, slightly gone down. But the numbers are terrible, and they've still lost ground after spending nearly 50% more just in the last 4 years. All told, only 1 in 4 CPS students can read is proficient at grade level, proficient in reading at grade level. 26%. 54% whites, 17% black, 22% Hispanic. Math, it's even worse, and the drop has been much more substantial. Still spending 50% more. Only less than 1 in 5 CPS students are proficient in math, meaning, doing math at grade level. 48% white, 8% black, 13% Hispanic. By the way, the 8% black is down from 13% proficient 4 years ago. The 13% proficient Hispanic, that's down from 22% just 4 years ago. Up by nearly 50% in spend. Down, on the math, it's really something, particularly with the minority students. Those are huge percentage drops, and you're starting from a pretty low base, aren't you? Which is also criminal. So the opportunity for people that care about Chicagoland, care about Illinois, care about kids' education, to point this out and challenge your neighbor. Challenge people. You can't know this and continue to support the same people and consider yourself a good person. You're not a good person. And people need to be told this. You are a bad human being when you are propping up politicians that prop up this system that produces these results. And don't tell me your scare stories about Republicans, because Americans all over the country aren't buying it. So I'm not going to let you get away with your rube, with your ghost stories, and with thinking you're a good person if you're part of this. How's that for a conversation at the block party? Who's ready to have it? Well, if you're not, then you also don't get to pretend that you care about Chicagoland, you care about kids' education, you care about the future of the state. There's the real choice between who's on the team fighting for kids and who's on the team fighting against. You want to be on Cardona's team? Because that's where a lot of people in Chicagoland are. And even if you're not an active propagandist for the unions like he is, your silence puts you on his team.
Connect with Dan and Amy using the AM 560 mobile app. Download it today at 560theanswer.com/mobile.
Ask any old football player or fan, and they'll tell you offense wins games, but defense wins championships. Sean Thompson here, and you know who else knows that. It's Tom Fortino of Alpha Wealth Group. He knows winning doesn't just happen. It's a result of having a good coach who draws up the right strategy and then makes adjustments along the way. So think of Tom as your retirement defensive coordinator, protecting your retirement savings against inflation, market loss, or a pick six from Uncle Sam. With Tom's complimentary retirement roadmap, you'll find out what's working in your game plan or what's not. If you're serious about winning in retirement, call 630-934-1855. Ask for the retirement roadmap. That's 630-934-1855. Or find Tom online at alphawealthgroup.com and listen to the Alpha Wealth Hour right here on AM 560 The Answer, Saturday mornings at 9 a.m.
Advisory services through Retirement Wealth Advisors, LLC, RWA, an SEC registered investment advisor. RWA and Alpha Wealth Group are independent of each other. Insurance and annuities offered through Alpha Wealth Group, licensed in Illinois.
I found out over the weekend at a pig roast at Glun's Tavern for their little Oktoberfest soiree.
Yeah.
I'm very big at Northridge and Willows. Very big at Northridge Prep and Willows.
I used to be big at Willows.
Well, you were displaced.
Yeah.
Because I'm bigger.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
They want you now.
The Spencer
Right.
family. They have Willows kids and Northridge Prep kids. Yeah. They were telling me.
I've spent more time at Northridge Prep because their Thanksgiving basketball tournament. And the trainer there, Mr. McGovern, helped my back and my knee because there was some downtime in between. And he was kind enough to see that I was hurting and took me in and helped me out. That's a great community at Northridge Prep.
You're on the Dan Prof team at Northridge Prep and Willows fighting for kids. Or you're not.
I'm on the team. I'm on the bench right now, okay?
Northridge Prep is a great place to be a boy. What does it mean exactly? What does that mean? Well, it means thanks to a foundation of an all-boys environment that builds your son up into a man of intellect and character who loves God. That's the teachers and faculty members become mentors to students. And when you combine that with an atmosphere that's fun, competitive, and challenging, it creates an exceptional experience for your son. It's about the only one of the few high schools I can recommend these days in Chicagoland, partly because of the conversation we were just having.
And Chicago Hope is good.
Chicago Hope, one of the few. I said not the only, but it's only a handful. The result of the environment at Northridge Prep is that boys love Northridge Prep. They've been educating boys for nearly 50 years, and one of the things that stands out to me is their commitment to partnering with parents. They don't chastise parents for misbehaving if there's a question or an interest in something going on at the school. You may hear this at other schools, but at Northridge Prep, it's real. They built a community that really works together. Raising kids is difficult, and at Northridge, you can be confident your son is on the right path. They're having an open house on Sunday, October 22nd for boys grades 6 through 12. Register today at northridgeprep.org. Again, the open house is Sunday, October 22nd, and you can register at northridgeprep.org.
Urgent Camp Lejeune settlement message. On September 6th, the government announced it will soon begin providing fast, guaranteed settlements to Camp Lejeune Marines, families, and civilians. Awards will range between $100,000 and $550,000, with an option for higher amounts. If you or a loved one spent time at Camp Lejeune and suffered cancers of the bladder, liver, or kidneys, leukemia, non-Hodgkin's lymphoma, Parkinson's, or kidney issues, you may qualify for compensation and could be paid within 60 days after accepting your settlement, with your VA benefits fully protected. You may be entitled to a significant financial award for your Camp Lejeune claim, but you must act now. Call the James Harris Law Camp Lejeune helpline now to get the compensation you deserve. We're already fighting for thousands harmed by the water at Camp Lejeune. Call now or you may forever lose your right to be awarded a settlement between $100,000 and $550,000. For your free evaluation, call 800-320-7171. That's 800-320-7171. 800-320-7171.
Do you really want to take shots the rest of your life just to lose weight? NJ Diet's typical results are twice as fast as weight loss injections without any of the side effects. Plus, you learn proper portion control and develop healthy eating habits for the rest of your life. By the end of NJ Diet's 40-day program, you will lose 20 to 40 plus pounds, contractually guaranteed. You will lose the weight and keep it off the natural way. NJ Diet uses your hair, saliva, and blood work along with scans to personalize natural solutions and supplements that get your body into the fat-burning zone. Then, NJ Diet uses your DNA info to help you keep the weight off. Locations locally in Skokie and Oakbrook, or available with live online video consultations. Don't take shots the rest of your life. Lose weight quickly the natural way with NJ Diet. Call 855-5-NJ-DIET or schedule your consult today at njdiet.com. That's njdiet.com.
If your money is not earning at least 5.25% tax deferred, you need to call Professional Life and Casualty. They're offering a 5.25% APY on new funds deposited into your annuity, traditional IRA, or Roth IRA accounts. Rate subject to change. Please call to confirm. With Professional Life and Casualty, you pay no surrender charges, no administrative fees, and no withdrawal fees. Professional Life and Casualty has been providing insurance and annuity products for over 60 years. Visit plcinsurance.com. plcinsurance.com. They'll send you a free guide to tax-deferred, no-fee annuity. Earn 5.25% APY on annuity, traditional IRA, or Roth IRA. Pay no surrender charges, no administrative fees, and no withdrawal fees. Only from Professional Life and Casualty. Call 1-800-651-1800. That's 1-800-651-1800.
AM 560, The Answer.
And Amy, I got another song, another artist who's got a bit of a cultural message in his music.
Okay.
Have you heard of this country singer, Blind Joe?
I have not.
Yeah, Blind Joe. He's from the land of 10,000 lakes, I think, Minnesota, Dakota's area. He's got a song, not quite Oliver Anthony, but it's getting some attention. Like, some of the rappers we've had on that have gotten waded into politics. It's been kind of fun. This one's kind of fun, too. You ready for it?
Mm-hmm.
I Will Not Comply, Blind Joe.
I will not comply. Quit trying to take me to task, 'cause I don't want to wear a mask or take a vaccine that could maybe make me die. They got no scientific evidence to back that crap up. All they do is feed us lie after lie. That's why I will not comply. Now, since back last March, I've had an achy, breaky heart like old Billy Ray Cyrus. I've been catching a case of the blues from the news around this damn coronavirus. Now they're telling us we gotta keep our chin diapers up, even if we got the shot in the arm. But nobody's talking about exercise or eating food that's fresh, grown from the farm. That's why I will not comply. Quit trying to take me to task, 'cause I don't want to wear a mask or take a vaccine that could maybe make me die. They got no scientific evidence to back that crap up. All they do is feed us lie after lie. That's why I will not comply. Show 'em what non-compliance sounds like, boys.
All right, what do you think?
Pretty catchy tune. Yeah.
You like it?
Yeah.
That's not bad. Now, the big guy, Mr. 10% President, not as big a fan. He's more of a rap fan, as he was recounting the other day.
Dear
representing the groundbreaking legacy of hip-hop in America, LL Cool J. By the way, that man's got biceps bigger than my thighs. I think he's been...
Oh. Don't use the word boy.
Don't use the word LL Cool J if you can't say it.
All right, coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Mama said knock that guy out of office. Hey. Coming up, 6:36.
Yeah.
Louis C.K. Clip from Louis C.K. from the Rogan Show is making the rounds again. And sort of gives you the explanation why the open borders people think the way they do. Will crawl into their minds at 6:36.
But now let's head straight into that newsroom. Here is Mike Scott.
Amy and Dan, 6:31, 67 degrees, and rain to our west this morning. Authorities are expected to begin allowing the first residents and property owners to return to devastated properties in Lahaina today, many for the first time since the Maui town was demolished by a wildfire nearly 7 weeks ago. Kosovo is observing a day of mourning for a Kosovar Albanian police officer killed by Serb gunmen who then barricaded themselves in an Orthodox monastery on Sunday. The attack in the north of Kosovo left 3 assailants dead and further raised tensions between the former 2 wartime foes. There's word that Senator Bob Menendez will speak publicly for the first time today since being slammed with federal bribery charges. The New Jersey Democrat is expected to hold a press conference and announce plans to seek re-election. No matter the fate for New Jersey Democrat Menendez, one Jersey Republican is making it clear he will have no interest in running for that seat.
I had a chance to appoint myself to the United States Senate in 2013. If I didn't appoint myself, the easiest way to get there, I sure as heck am not going to run for it.
That's Chris Christie. The House GOP conference is continuing negotiations to come up with a legislative plan to avert a partial government shutdown. Here's our reporter in Washington, Mark Mayfield.
House Speaker Kevin McCarthy says he's optimistic that some sort of deal will be worked out ahead of the September the 30th deadline. The renewed push comes after 2 previous efforts to unite Republicans around a stopgap funding resolution failed. GOP leaders are scrambling to try and pass 4 of their full-year funding bills this week before making another attempt at a short-term measure to keep the government running. I'm Mark Mayfield.
Chicago police are increasing patrols around DePaul's Lincoln Park campus after several students were robbed near the quad at Belden and Seminary and at the intersection of Belden and Racine. Meantime, Chicago police are also investigating a string of armed robberies in the South Deering neighborhood, at least 7 reported on Saturday morning. Bears remain winless following a 41-10 loss to Kansas City at Arrowhead. Chicago had just 203 yards of total offense. More buses carrying illegal immigrants were brought to the city over the weekend. 5 on Saturday, 7 more expected to arrive on Sunday. No one is in custody after a car was stolen right near Chicago City Hall. Police say a group broke a window on a vehicle Saturday night in the 100 block of North LaSalle. Many of you probably know City Hall is at 121 North LaSalle. 5 males took off in the car in an unknown direction. No injuries, no arrests. Cubs beat the Rockies 4-3 in the series finale at Wrigley Field, while the White Sox beat the Red Sox 3-2. The news service of Salem Surround. Go to surroundchicago.com today. And a check of traffic and weather is on the way next on AM 560.
Freedom Summit Chicago tickets are now on sale. Join AM 560, The Answer, on November 11th at the Westin Chicago Northwest for Freedom Summit, featuring Rand Paul, Judge Janine Pirro from Fox News, Dan Proft, Amy Jacobson, Sean Thompson, and many more. Tickets are on sale now at freedomsummitchicago.com. That's freedomsummitchicago.com. Sponsored in part by Breakthrough Ideas, Linex of Roselle, and by the law offices of Stephen Leahy.
Sometimes Balance of Nature gets feedback that Dr. Howard should be played by a better actor. Well, maybe they're right, because I am not an actor, and I don't want to be. I hope that you understand this is real. People are sharing their success stories because their quality of life has improved.
The acute rehab was quite a journey. I thought maybe this is the best it's going to be until I took Balance of Nature.
I had low energy, I wasn't sleeping good at night, and then my wife suggested we try Balance of Nature. My energy came back, it's changed my life.
A surf session can be pretty physically demanding, and Balance of Nature helps me do that.
Quality is what life is about, and that's what we strive for at Balance of Nature. We are a results-based company looking to improve your quality of life.
Go to balanceofnature.com to get 35% off your first preferred order and get this special offer by using discount code CHICAGO.
Are you considering a unique way to enhance your investment knowledge this year? Then sign up today for the all-inclusive Eagle Financial Publications Cruise. Along with our trusted partner, The Money Show, we're setting sail this December to explore some of the most beautiful and unspoiled destinations in the Caribbean. But this is no ordinary vacation. It's a chance to learn from top Eagle financial experts like best-selling authors George Gilder, Mark Skousen, and others who will be hosting a series of workshops and seminars throughout the trip. Imagine lounging on the sun deck while discussing investment strategies with like-minded individuals, or enjoying a gourmet dinner at the same table with one of our leading financial authorities. This once-in-a-lifetime cruise is a perfect way to combine education and relaxation to achieve your investment goals. This cruise will sell out quickly, so visit EagleFinancialCruise.com today to learn more and to secure your cabin. That's EagleFinancialCruise.com. Eagle Financial is a division of Salem Media Group.
It is 6:37. Let's get an update on the roads. Team Hochberg Traffic Center time is a service of Macy's Backstage. What will you find at Macy's Backstage? Well, here's a hint. Fall finds for $25 and under. Sharp blazers, cargo pants, cozy sweaters, and more. Find the latest trends and new arrivals at a Macy's Backstage store near you. Let's start on the Reagan I-88. Traveling on the eastbound side, they have just reopened the toll road between Peace and Route 47 due to a much earlier fatal accident. However, as you continue coming eastbound right at Highland Avenue, there is a disabled vehicle being moved onto the right shoulder. Jane Addams eastbound, stop and go between Randall and Route 31 due to an earlier accident. The Dan Ryan already stacking up inbound in the express between 51st and the Stevenson. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next. Variable cloudiness in your forecast with a shower in the area, high 76. Mostly cloudy, a brief shower or two overnight, low 62. It is 67 right now. Next news at 7. Chicago's Morning Answer continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by Catholic Cemeteries of Chicago. Ensure your legacy lives on. Set your final wishes in place. Visit CatholicCemeteriesChicago.org.
Listen to AM 560 The Answer online at 560theanswer.com, on the AM 560 mobile app, on your Alexa-powered smart speaker, and on TuneIn, iHeart, and on Odyssey. Now, from the Signature Bank Studios, this is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson. If you're looking for the latest news, insight into what it means, and the sharpest opinion, there's only one station in Chicago where you can turn, and it's this one. We're AM 560, The Answer.
Top of the morning, Dan and Amy. This is the big guy's favorite artist.
Oh, LL Cool J.
Representing the
boy.
groundbreaking legacy of hip-hop in America, LL Cool J.
He's
There he
so
is,
hip.
LL Cool J.
So down with the struggle.
You don't
What's your-
vote for Joe Biden. You ain't black.
Remember that? Yeah.
That'd be a
He's
lesson
so
to you.
Pathetic. Just shows how senile and out of touch he is. But whatever. Keep it coming.
So this bite's been making the rounds on the interweb there.
I thought the internet was going to go away.
Not a fad. Louis C.K., this is from an appearance he made on the Joe Rogan show earlier in the year on open borders. And it's, Louis C.K. is a typical, left dilettante. I mean, he's funny, but he's an idiot. He doesn't know anything like most of these celebrities. So it's interesting, this can be interpreted a couple different ways, whether he was sort of cosplaying the white leftist for the purpose of setting up the comedy to come at a later date effectively, or whether he was just serious. He was trying to sound intelligent, and this is explaining the positions, the left's position on border security, which is they're against it. Either way, I think it's actually a pretty fair representation of what the thinking is if you talk to somebody who supports these sanctuary cities and thinks this what's going on with the lawlessness at the border is all wonderful and we need to be a welcoming country. They buy the rap that Brandon Johnson is selling. Take a listen to Louis C.K.
But my feeling is they should open it, the border, and just let them pour in, let everybody pour in, and then the answer, which is, well, then there'll be all these problems. Yes, there should be. It shouldn't be so great here, is what I'm saying, in America. It shouldn't be. It's a weird thing to sequester a certain group of people and try to keep upping their lifespan and their lifestyle, and just keep trying to increase that for this group of people, and then this pressure of people trying to come in so they can enjoy it. And then it gets worse and worse down here. I mean, I'm not in Canada. It's really just from down here. There's something wrong with that. That's not a system that's working, and it forces people to do cruel things to other people. There's a lot of people that die so Americans can be safe. They're just dying, weddings that are drone bombed in Yemen because a guy said something that might have resulted in American insecurity, not even definite American deaths, but just so we can breathe a little easier. Folks die, and folks do labor in unsafe places so that we can keep the prices where we like them. There's so much about American life that other people pay for. That's part of it, but also it's not good for us either. It's not a good way to live in a gated community. If you let folks pour in like any other wave, it'll kind of slosh, and then things will be different. I don't know, what'll really happen? A bunch of people, will they just come with knives and start killing everybody? I don't think so. A
Venezuelan man in Texas did commit a murder, but okay. joking at all, being sarcastic?
Well,
or is this him being genuine and this is the way he really feels?
It really doesn't matter that much because it's more that what he said, whether he said it facetiously or not. I don't think it was facetious, but even if it was, that's how people really think. I mean, that's a viewpoint of the new Marxists. That's their actual view. They couch it in the welcoming city, but I mean, they have disgust for America. And again, hypocrisy is attendant to their privilege as, the vanguard class. So they can have the good things. But to the extent that especially honkies feel upset about something or their privilege, they would say their privilege is under assault in some way. They're worrying about their status. They're worrying about the great replacement, which, of course, makes them racist. This is the point that Louis C.K. is making, which I think a lot of people in a place like Chicago actually believe. You shouldn't have it so good. You have it too good. You have it too good through the exploitation of others. And so now is the reckoning. And the reckoning comes in the form of open up the gates, and anybody who wants to come can come. And we're going to be not only welcoming, but we're going to be compassionate and providing all of the basic necessities of life because we've gotten so much through illicit means because we're bad people. We shouldn't live like this. You can't live like this, Louis. It's not a good way to live for us. We're parasites, you see. I think that's how they actually view it. I think if you ask Carlos Ramirez Rosa or Andre Vasquez on the city council, I think they would nod at what Louis C.K. was saying.
312-642-5600, turnkey.pro answer line, 64636. Type in DA, then a quick text message. A text message. This might be the greatest example of a luxury belief I've ever witnessed.
Yeah. Well, but they would say that Louis C.K. and those, they would say, well, that's, you have a luxury belief in border security, believing that you have some sort of God-given right to live in this rich country and be protected from, quote unquote, protected from other people, insulated, I guess they'd say, because there's no need for protection. You just heard him say it. What are they going to do? Like start knifing everybody? No, of course not. These are all good people that have good intentions. And to the extent that this would upset our lifestyle in any way, well, it's about damn time. So they would say we have the luxury belief, you see. And it all starts from this premise that, I mean, you're lucky to be born in America. This is all true. But then nothing, I guess, matters from there. It's like the sort of immutable condition of being born of one race or another. And then there's supposed to be all these benefits or obligations that flow from that rather than on your conduct.
Well, why does he want us to have programs? I mean, again, he said if we allow open borders, America is going to have a lot of problems, and that's good.
Well, he means he's saying that they're no. I don't know if he said a lot of problems, but I think the whole point is what I said is it's gonna change America, but America needs to change. It needs to change from being this white supremacist patriarchal society, and maybe with a bunch of single men from Venezuela, we can change America into something better.
Or now what? American citizens and have work visas?
Well, they're not American citizens.
Well, but they're here legally now, and they don't
for
have to
18
worry.
months.
Yeah, they don't have to worry about being deported. I'm of the mindset where we should shut the borders and keep the barbed wire up. And I'm sure you had this on Friday, where Border Patrol agents were literally cutting the wire in Eagle Pass, Texas.
Yeah, that Abbott's National Guardsman put up, and then he was tasking them to put more of it up. But regardless, I mean, you're not going to stem the flow with barbed wire along the Rio Grande. You're just not.
No, that's not working, and the buoys are not
Obviously
working either.
We know what the numbers are. Obviously, none of that's working, and it's purposeful.
But the gates, because the gates are open along in Nogales, Arizona. There's no wall, there's no gates. They opened the gates to let people in.
Well, I'm still
hitting home with anybody. We're being invaded, and nobody seems to care.
still hoping for the 10 cities.
Well, they're coming.
Cook County is spending about $14 million to buy 2 suburban hotels for the unhoused, those who are housing insecure. We used to call them homeless, but
shh, don't say that, Dan.
$7 million in federal pandemic dollars.
Ugh.
Federal pandemic dollars used to buy a hotel for the homeless. Interesting. The Margarita Inn in Evanston. Oh.
Didn't you stay there once? Is that an all-inclusive?
The
Margarita Inn with free chips and salsa?
I have not stayed there. The Margarita Inn, too, apparently it's within walking distance where Jan Schakowsky lives. Do stop by.
Oh, please do.
It's hot for high tea.
Maybe they could put a yurt tent city near her house.
Well, the other thing, too, is, we may not go with 10 cities because your buddy Andre Vasquez is not so keen on the 10 city idea, particularly if it's going to be provided or built by Garda World, this Virginia-based company that's got the $29 million agreement with the city because they had some involvement with what Ron DeSantis was doing in Florida.
Yeah, they were hired by Governor DeSantis to transport those migrants to Martha's Vineyard. So what? Yeah.
Well, so what? So we're not going to let you build our tent city. You ain't going to build tent city. And we're going to go with, maybe what Vasquez was saying previously, which is permanent structures. Like Cook County is doing in Evanston. Buy some hotels or eminent domain people's homes, whatever you have to do to provide the shelter that they deserve.
And it's so crazy. I mean, I have this list of where migrants are being housed, and they're in all these wards except for, Andre Vasquez's ward. A lot of progressives don't have shelters in their wards yet, and this is just not right.
Well, I also
At
want
the YMCA in the 4th Ward.
you got to check out too. I mean, I would definitely encourage you folks out there to put a call into your county chairman's office, to county board members. Mm-hmm. See if you've got some suburban counties, municipalities too, for that matter, that are having conversations with Chicago, Cook County, because Preckwinkle and Brandon Johnson are doing this together.
Yeah,
real
that's
collaboration.
Political mother.
Real collaboration going on there. It's wonderful. It's the first time in 15 years or forever since she's been the county board chairman that she has a real partner at City Hall. That's what Tony says about BLM Brandon. And she's right. Now see if there's some outreach happening to suburban communities and counties, municipalities and counties, for the suburban areas to house some of the migrants as well. I bet.
Well, according to
there is.
According to Garda World's contract, they're part of that deal is to build yurts or tent cities in DuPage, Lake, McHenry, and Kane counties. Did anybody read that? Are you guys awake out there in the suburbs? It's coming to you. Love it.
Jeff in Cal City.
Good morning, Dan and Amy. The only true, real secure border we have with Mexico is the California-Mexico border. Why doesn't the Biden administration tear down the walls? I mean, they have miles and miles of very, very tall, secure, concrete border walls. Why don't they tear that down? I hope if Trump gets as president, one day he'll actually just say, there you go, California. You don't believe in borders? Let's go rip down everything there.
Thanks for the call, Jeff. And we'll put a wall around California to keep them out of our country. Yeah.
I really want to ask why the 35th Ward, 40th Ward, Alderman Vasquez, what are you? You're asleep at the wheel here. Why they're dodging taking in illegals. 47th Ward, my ward's not on here either. Well, they're just at the 19th district.
Not yet. There's a lot more coming. I know there was a report out over the weekend. Abbott's still sending more migrants to New York, so they're not going to stop.
He has to. We have the largest intake of migrants. Month of August had 304,000 in 1 month. That's unheard of.
You saw
They're breaking records, guys.
You saw the conversation. We played that conversation with the one migrant talking to the border agent in California. Can I go to Chicago now? Sure you can.
Do whatever you want.
We're here, free. Do whatever you want. Go to Chicago.
Go anywhere.
Tell Beal and Brandon I said hi. Marvin in Burlington.
Yeah, I just want to make a comment on Louis C.K.'s intelligence. the American public has lost 40% of its buying power approximately since Biden took office due to his war on petroleum. We are the most benevolent, giving country the civilization has ever known. If he wants a country that continues to be that way and help poorer countries, then we need to be a wealthy country.
We can help. We can help poor countries by becoming them. You see, you have to have the experience
economically.
Yeah.
No, it doesn't work that way. And if they're so hell bent on helping these people, why don't they instead of trying to hide their money in offshore accounts and tax havens, why don't they give more to the federal government if they believe in so much of that, and invite these people into their homes and in their neighborhoods? Geez, I wonder where Louis C.K. lives and how many illegal aliens. I'm sick of the term migrants. They're not migrants. These people are illegally entering our country illegally, and we're letting them in.
Thanks for the call, Marvin. I don't think Louis C.K. is going to take in any illegal aliens, and I don't think they'd want to go to Louis C.K.'s place because he may ejaculate all over them.
That's right. That's that.
They
forgot about that.
They may want to go right back to
Why are you bringing
Venezuela
that
or
up?
Haiti.
Text message, Dan and Amy, it is not the unhoused, it's the residentially challenged.
Yeah, residentially challenged. But I mean, seriously, you want to go? You want to go Louis C.K.?
Gross. Didn't he do something to a potted plant? Oh no, that was Harvey Weinstein.
Yeah, it's tough to keep track.
What did he? Well, I don't. Yeah. Dan and Amy, who owns those two hotels? Well, it doesn't matter. They're getting federal funds. This is like a win-win.
Well, it's like some wired up deal. It's a good question. I don't know. I'll look into it.
I talked to somebody from the hotel industry over the weekend who said they're trying in California to force hotel owners, if they have any vacant or any open rooms, I know, but it's been going on, but they're trying to fight it because they're lobbyists, that they have to rent those rooms out to homeless.
Yeah, we talked about that in the context of the mayor's race there in L.A. Karen Bass, the longtime congresswoman, beat that billionaire real estate developer. And one of her issues was supporting the imposition, the mandate on hotels to make open rooms available to the homeless, and the city will pay you X amount of dollars. She supported that.
Yeah, but they don't want to because it'll ruin their brand.
And LA residents had a choice, and they made the choice.
Yep, and got to live with it. Just like the Kappa Kappa Gammas, you made a choice. You voted in the transgender guy who's really not transitioning. You got to live with your choice. You woke idiots.
Clay in Libertyville.
Morning, Dan and Amy. I was going to use a little more sensitive word than ejaculate all over.
Yeah.
But when I'm coming to or looking for advice on how we should run this country, I'm not going to take it from a guy who exposes and pleasures himself in front of women without their consent. Have a great day.
Yeah, it's a high bar that you've set, Clay, in terms of where the people you turn to for advice. But I mean, I do hear what you're saying on that. Don in McHenry.
Hey, how you doing? Good morning.
Morning.
Isn't there something Congress can do about this in case the leader of the country goes crazy and lets an invasion happen?
It's already happening.
Well,
I know, but go ahead.
Yeah. No, I mean, is there something Congress can do about it? Sure, they can do something about it. They have the power of the purse. This is actually the point that Matt Gaetz was making on Bartiromo's show yesterday. So whether you like Gaetz's style and strategy or not, I mean, it's difficult to argue with the point that you can bring some of these people and agencies to heel if you stop sending the checks to underwrite them, and then do a little bit of horse trading about, well, if you want this agency to be funded, if you want these people to stay employed, then over here, I mean, this is power politics, and over here, we're going to do something. You're going to come with us to do something on this matter at the border. Otherwise, we'll bring the whole thing to a grinding halt. It's something that...
I agree.
Thanks for the call, Don. Something that could do. You know, it's where you want to spend your political capital, how much of a fight you want to put in. Glenn, Oakbrook.
Yeah, good morning. Regarding the Louis C.K. comments, I think we need to focus on
the Declaration of Independence and the Constitution. The Declaration says that we have certain unalienable rights of life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness, and the Constitution protects life and liberty. Pursuit of happiness, that's up to you to catch up on. So, but we need to focus on the Constitution. This we can't just change the country because somebody says we got to let everybody in, and without any rules.
Thanks, Glenn.
The more you listen, the more you'll know. This is Chicago's Morning Answer. Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
Sometimes Balance of Nature gets feedback that Dr. Howard should be played by a better actor. Well, maybe they're right, because I am not an actor, and I don't want to be. I hope that you understand this is real. People are sharing their success stories because their quality of life has improved.
The acute rehab was quite a journey. I thought maybe this is the best it's going to be until I took Balance of Nature.
I had low energy. I wasn't sleeping good at night. And then my wife suggested we try Balance of Nature. My energy came back. It's changed my life.
A surf session can be pretty physically demanding, and Balance of Nature helps me do that.
Quality is what life is about, and that's what we strive for at Balance of Nature. We are a results-based company looking to improve your quality of life.
Go to balanceofnature.com to get 35% off your first preferred order and get this special offer by using discount code Chicago.
AM 560. The Answer.
All right, coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer.
What data on 12th graders says about America's future at 7:07.
But now let's head into the newsroom. Here's Mike Scott.
Several DePaul University students robbed. Fire breaks out in an industrial building in Humboldt Park. WIND Chicago News Time, 7.
They're writing a happy ending. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News. The Writers Guild has worked out a tentative deal with Hollywood studios to end a strike that started in May.
None of the terms have been announced yet. The agreement must now be approved by the Guild's board and members before the ongoing strike can officially end. Hollywood writers have been striking since early May, demanding better pay and benefits, increased residuals, and rules to protect writers from AI.
That's Fox's Brian Holkern. The actors' strike is still going on, so film and TV production will remain halted. Auto workers also remain on strike. It's the 11th day of their walkout that was expanded Friday. Tomorrow, President Biden will show his support for workers, joining picketers in Michigan. Former President Trump will do the same on Wednesday. A new ABC News Washington Post poll gives the former president a 10-point lead in a potential Trump-Biden rematch.
The president's approval rating stood at just 37%, 56% disapproving, and that could stem from the fact that 44% of registered voters reported that they are worse off financially under a Biden presidency. That's the most in this poll since 1986.
Fox's Alexandria Hoff. 70% of voters in the poll say President Biden is too old. Half say the same about former President Trump. Congress has 6 more days to fund the government.
I'm not pro-shutdown.
But Congressman Matt Gaetz is among a small group of House Republicans opposing short-term funding, telling Fox they need a regular full budget process.
We should have separate single-subject spending bills. Kevin McCarthy promised that in January. He is in breach of that promise.
All House Republicans want spending cuts, but Senate Democrats oppose that. 7 weeks after a wildfire burnt down most of the town of Lahaina in Hawaii, some residents and property owners will be allowed to survey the damage today,
so they can get the closure they're looking for and hoping to get.
That's Maui Emergency Management Interim Administrator Daryl Oliveira. The fire is blamed for 97 deaths and a few dozen other people remain missing. America's listening to Fox News.
66 degrees. Rain showers and lightning to the west at 7:02 on AM 560. The Answer. Good morning. I'm Mike Scott. Chicago police are increasing patrols around DePaul's Lincoln Park campus after several students were robbed. The robberies occurred yesterday near the quad at Belden and North Seminary and near the intersection of Belden and North Racine. Meantime, Chicago police are investigating a string of armed robberies in the South Deering neighborhood, at least 7, on Saturday. 29 people have been shot, 3 fatally, in weekend gun violence across the city, including an 86-year-old man in the Auburn Gresham neighborhood. Police say Charles Hobson Sr. was getting something out of his truck when he was shot and the truck stolen.
It's heartbreaking that he's no longer here
for stupidity.
Later, police took 3 young people found nearby into custody. Bears remain winless following a 41-10 loss to the Chiefs at Arrowhead, giving up 27 points in the second quarter, trailing 34-0 at the half.
I didn't feel that it was affecting us at all, to be honest with you. That locker room is tight, and it's going to have to be tight now. I mean, there's going to be a lot of outside noise, and we got to do a great job of just staying together.
Bears head coach Matt Eberflus on the turmoil of the past week and more details revealed about last week's departure from the Bears of defensive coordinator Alan Williams. ESPN reporting that Williams' resignation was in part due to inappropriate activity. An industrial building in Humboldt Park badly damaged by fire. The blaze broke out yesterday in the 3200 block of West Grand. No one hurt after a car crashes into a retail shop in Chicago's Humboldt Park neighborhood. An SUV last night slammed into the building in the 3200 block of West North Avenue, and the driver ran off. Patrick Wisdom mashes the go-ahead home run. Cubs beat the Rockies 4-3 at Wrigley. Team improves to 82-74 and now one solid game ahead of Miami for the third National League wildcard spot. Mike Clevenger goes the distance as the White Sox beat the Red Sox in a 6-inning game, shortened by rain, 3-2. The news, a service of Townstone Financial. Should you buy a new home? Can you afford it? Can you pay off credit cards using your home? Townstone.com has the answers, or call 312-896-2110. Illinois Mortgage Licensee 6629 NMLS 136639. A check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
Freedom Summit Chicago tickets are now on sale. Join AM 560, The Answer, on November 11th at the Westin Chicago Northwest for Freedom Summit, featuring Rand Paul, Judge Janine Pirro from Fox News, Dan Proft, Amy Jacobson, Sean Thompson, and many more. Tickets are on sale now at freedomsummitchicago.com. That's freedomsummitchicago.com. Sponsored in part by Lil's Dietary Shop, Blue Star Security, and by Hope Wins 7.
The Tunnel to Towers Foundation delivers on its promise to do good and never forget the sacrifices of America's greatest heroes. Heroes who risk their lives for our communities and our country. Heroes like United States Marine Corps Captain and pilot John Jeremy Sachs. He sustained fatal injuries when his military aircraft crashed during training. Tunnel to Towers provided his wife and 2 daughters with a mortgage-free home. Join Tunnel to Towers on its mission to do good in their honor. Donate $11 a month at T2T.org.
All right, this just in, Pure Talk just added more 5G data to every plan and is now including a mobile hotspot with no price increase at all whatsoever. Just $20 a month for unlimited talk, unlimited text, and now 50% more 5G data, plus you get mobile hotspot. Start saving today. Go to puretalk.com, enter the promo code Sean, S-E-A-N, to make the switch to Pure Talk, and you do it now, you'll save an additional 50% off your first month. That's puretalk.com, promo code Sean.
You have the right to know and the freedom to choose what's best for you and your family's well-being. This has been the Trinity Health Freedom Expo motto since it began in 2005. Throughout the years, the Health Freedom Expo provided a platform for reputable and uncensored access to current information and the top products from the natural health industry. The 32nd Health Freedom Expo is on October 14th and 15th at the Tinley Park Convention Center. The expo speakers and exhibitors come from all walks of life and a variety of backgrounds, including healthcare, law, and research and development. The 2023 Trinity Health Freedom Expo will feature nearly 36 expert speakers, including Dr. Bradley Nelson, Dr. Ellen Tart-Jensen, Dr. Brian Hooker, and for the private symposium, Dr. Sherry Tenpenny, board-certified osteopathic medical doctor, founder of Tenpenny Integrative Medical Center, and vaccine researcher. View the full lineup and register at trinityhealthfreedomexpo.com or call 888-658-3976. Attend the expo on October 14th and 15th because you have the right to a naturally vibrant life.
7:07, let's get an update on the roads. Team Hochberg Traffic Center time. Let's start on the Edens. Already 22 Lake Cook Road to the junction. The Kennedy Inn, 45 into the Burns Circle interchange. The Ike right now at 54, 390 to the old post office. Stevenson, 39 from 355 into DuSable Lakeshore Drive. Dan Ryan Express lanes jammed up 47 into the Stevenson. 57 in the Bishop Ford, slowing up into the Ryan Merge. And the Reagan, an accident on the westbound side. Car into the wall at Winfield. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next. AM 560 Weather Center forecast with Steve Williams.
Variable cloudiness, a shower in the area today, high 76. Clouds, a brief shower tonight, low 62. Cloudy shower and thunderstorm for tomorrow, a high at 69. Clouds and a passing shower Wednesday, the high again 69. I'm Steve Williams on AM 560, The Answer.
67 at O'Hare, 66 Lakefront. Next news, 7:30. Chicago's Morning Answer continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by Scott Tucker Solutions and his show Retirement Decoded. Sunday mornings at 8. Learn more at scotttuckersolutions.com.
Listen to AM 560 The Answer online at 560theanswer.com, on the AM 560 mobile app, on your Alexa-powered smart speaker, and on TuneIn, iHeart, and on Odyssey. Now, from the Signature Bank Studios, this is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560, The Answer.
Top of the morning, Dan and Amy. What's your read on the Russell Brand situation? What do you think about Russell Brand? Is he being targeted because he dared to deviate from Hollywood orthodoxy on politics? Or is he just a lowlife who's using the deviation from Hollywood orthodoxy on politics as cover for past bad and potentially criminal behavior? 312-642-5600, turnkey.pro answer line. That is 64636DA, turnkey.pro. Text line. Russell Brand was on video this weekend asking for support, and he doesn't just mean emotional, he means financial too.
Obviously, it's been an extraordinary and distressing week, and I thank you very much for your support and for questioning the information that you've been presented with.
Mm-hmm.
Well, why did it take so long for the allegations to surface? Because I feel like the women, I mean, and I don't know, and I feel like he's already being persecuted in the court of public opinion. I don't know if what happened, if they were actually raped, but why did they wait so long? Because they seem like opportunistic women by coming forward now, years later.
They're all the allegations that I've seen are at least a decade old, right?
Yeah, that's a long time.
I
mean, if somebody
agree.
violated me or one of my best friends, you go right away. You go for the jugular. You want justice. You want them behind bars. I don't care about their celebrity status or their power or money. That's why it's so hard. All of these, the whole Me Too, and see, with that 70s show guy too. Him, it's like,
Well, he was convicted in a court of law of raping two
True.
people. Danny Masters,
right?
That's a bit different.
That's a different story than this.
Yeah,
yes.
he
But
was
both
tried and
cases,
convicted.
just why did they wait so long? And that's the problem that I have. And then they make it harder for real rape victims out there. But they might have been raped. I don't know. Not for me to decide. I'm not going to be on the jury.
Well, do you think that he's being? He's not the only Hollywood celebrity that's deviated from the accepted opinion on political issues. He's not the only Hollywood celebrity to say nice things about Trump from time to time. So he, in this whole, he's conceded that, earlier in his life, he was abused alcohol and he was very promiscuous. So I said all these things on my show, and you see him on these interviews that are resurfacing where he's, behaving, like a
Hollywood doofus.
Well, yeah, testosterone addled, he's behaving like the character that he played in Sarah Marshall, Forgetting Sarah Marshall.
Oh.
He's behaving like that, sort of half out of his mind rocker, who's just looking to score all the time.
But all these
drugs
women,
or other things.
all these women together coming forward at the same time seems like a coordinated attack. for some reason. And is it because he's political? Because he's not, a mainstream Hollywood guy? Not mainstream. Sorry, he's not. He doesn't toe the Democratic line. He doesn't toe the Hollywood mantra.
Well, it's more than that. I mean, it's more than not towing it. It's not like I'm for lower taxes. It's like, he's come out. He's been on Tucker's show. He's had Tucker on his podcast. He's talked about the deep state. He's talked about big tech. And, of course, now he's gotten deplatformed and demonetized by YouTube, which is in part why I guess he's hoping you subscribe to his Rumble channel so he can pay his legal fees and whatnot. Which, I mean...
That's fine. He's got to reinvent himself on another social media platform. I get that. And he should have the right to do so.
I would say that there's a lot of specificity to some of the allegations. And among the accusers is like there are at least one like person with a name in her own right.
Mm-hmm.
That Australian pop singer. What's her name again? I know she has a name, and I forgot it. Minogue, Danny Minogue. Danny Minogue branded Russell Brand a vile predator as far back as 2016, 2006, accusing him of creeping her out by perving over her quote-unquote fabulous breasts and refusing to take no for an answer. Well, that's not criminal. It sounds like could have been creepy, but that's not criminal. But, for example, one accuser said they had a relationship when she was 16, so that is criminal.
That is, yes.
A ex-girlfriend, Jordan Martin is her name, made allegations that he sexually assaulted her at the Lowry Hotel in Manchester, England, after becoming angry that she had spoken to an ex-boyfriend. But that happened in 2007. She made the accusation in a book she wrote in 2014. Now it's all coming back 10 years later. I'm a little loath to immediately like knee-jerk jump to Brand's defense. The way that Tucker or Laura Ingraham have, but there are some legitimate questions of these accusers. And there's sort of different categories too. There's accusers whose previous statements are just being pulled forward to add to the story and to continue the feeding frenzy. And then there are those making allegations in real time, even if they're older allegations. So it's a lot to unpack. The other thing too is,
what evidence do they have?
Well, the other thing
you could say anything.
The other thing is even if there is some merit to one or more of the allegations, there is no doubt that the press corps is purposely trying to make this as big a feeding frenzy as possible. They are trying to put as much air into this as they can. And so what does that say? Does that say, oh, we just want to know what the facts are, we just want to give accusers a platform, or we want to get this guy? I tend to think on that count, it's much more we want to get this guy than we have grave concern and empathy for the accusers. That's what they usually couch their headhunting in. So it sounds all high-minded, but it's pretty low rent.
Yeah, he said he denied all allegations and has said that all of his relationships have been consensual. He was interviewed 9 years ago by English authorities because a masseuse came forward and said that he groped her at his house and no charges were filed.
Yeah, there's something that just doesn't set right about this, but I can't make it out at this point. I don't really have a good feel on this, but I do have to say I thought this aspect of the story was telling of our times. Paramount Plus removes Russell Brand comedy special, but it continues to stream Harvey Weinstein movies.
That is so.
So,
therein lies the hypocrisy.
Well, who gets, what's the standard and how is it applied? I don't know how you can parse those two decisions, how you can distinguish them on any basis of principle. Probably Paramount's decision probably does not generating a lot of money from Russell Brand Live from New York from 2009. Weinstein movies, larger oeuvre, heavy rotation, probably an important part of the library, probably paid a lot of money for the rights. But it's not a matter of principle here. I mean, and maybe it's not even financial, although I think it is. Maybe there's something else too. It's just I don't know. I don't know how you would defend a Harvey Weinstein exactly, or how you would move to expunge the presence of Russell Brand on all platforms, and not do the same for someone like Harvey Weinstein. That's why these things are so confusing. It's difficult to determine when you have so many people with so little integrity that are part of the story, you know?
It's like a hot, steaming cup of information to start your day. It's Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
Wireless headphones. That'll be $200.
I'll use my Capital One Quicksilver card.
Now that's a hit. You used the Capital One Quicksilver card, which makes you the hero of every purchase. With Quicksilver, you earn unlimited 1.5% cash back on every purchase everywhere.
I wanted running music, but unlimited 1.5% cash back is pretty heroic.
Good instincts. Every hero needs a theme song. The Capital One Quicksilver card. What's in your wallet?
Terms apply. See CapitalOne.com for details.
Hi, I'm Martha Stewart. Every year, more than 4 million pets enter shelters here in the United States. My friends at American Humane have been helping animals since 1877. The goal is to ensure that pets have a safe shelter, especially during natural disasters. Adopting a shelter pet allows shelters to help more animals awaiting care. Please consider adopting today and take some time to learn more about American Humane's other work at americanhumane.org.
By the way, you were mentioning, I guess, the 16-year-old, I should have checked on that, the age of consent in England where this allegedly occurred is
16.
So it wouldn't have been a criminal.
No, but she alleges that, her name is Sarah, she said that she felt vulnerable and intimidated after he allegedly, quote, refused to get her a taxi home until she performed a sex act. But what, I mean, don't you have to have evidence of all this? Is this just... Because anybody can make any allegations against anybody. Anybody can sue anybody.
Well, that's why you have statutes of limitations on these matters, criminally and civilly too. Yeah, that's what I say. It's like, and you try to get this like critical mass of accusers, like a volume makes up for lack of persuasiveness, and it really doesn't. I mean, the 4 accusers. I mean, there's an accusation of rape, there's an accusation of sexual assault, so you take those accusations seriously, but yeah, you got to put together the pieces here. I don't know. There's a lot of people talking about testosterone, we just were, but do your homework and be sure to provide it. Go to a provider you can trust. I trust my friends at Low T Center where I get my levels checked the past 8 years. At Low T Center, they make it easy. You walk in, take a simple blood test, and with their on-site lab, you'll get your results back in about 25 minutes. If you've been feeling tired, grumpy, notice weight gain and loss of muscle mass, these could be signs of low testosterone levels. Low T is not your typical doctor's office where you have a long wait. It's concierge medicine exclusively for men. They have affordable and convenient options for treatment, including physician-monitored self-inject treatments that ship directly to you each month, so there's no need to drive to the center for weekly visits. And right now, Low T Center is only $25 to get your T level tested with results back in about 25 minutes. So what are you waiting for? Log on now to lowtcenter.com to book your appointment online. That's lowtcenter.com. Tell them Dan Proft sent you when you do. Low T Center, reinventing men's healthcare. Signature Bank is Chicago's fastest growing independently owned business bank. It's a bank where relationships still matter. I'm Dan Proft, and I know this because Signature Bank is my business bank.
Hi, I'm Tony Dreyfus, founder and president of Metropolis Coffee Company and a proud new customer of Signature Bank. We're a 19-year-old specialty coffee roaster located in the heart of Chicago. Some of your favorite restaurants and cafes serve our coffee. As a small business manufacturer, we understand the importance of working with the right bank, and that's why we made the move to Signature Bank. We were tired of the impersonal service that our large bank had provided. A friend referred us to Signature Bank, and their team was on site to understand our operations firsthand. They provided us the working capital to continue our successful business operations and to fuel our ambitions for innovation and growth. We now have the flexibility to grow at our own pace. That personal touch, you can't find that at a large bank, but we found it at Signature, and we can't thank them enough.
Signature Bank helps local businesses succeed. Let Signature Bank turn your business vision into reality. Visit signaturebank.bank. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
All right, 47 million people, 47 million, have no or unscorable credit and would benefit from a Team Hochberg Fresh Start secured credit card with no annual fee. A Team Hochberg Fresh Start secured credit is perfect if your vindictive ex destroyed your credit, you recently filed or were discharged from bankruptcy, experienced a foreclosure or short sale, have collections, or you've been turned down for credit one or more times because one of your children is also having trouble securing credit cards. So Team Hochberg partnered with Kane County Teachers Credit Union to offer the Team Hochberg Fresh Start secured credit card with no annual fee to help reestablish, enhance, and strengthen listeners with no damaged or challenged credit. For information about obtaining a Team Hochberg Fresh Start secured credit card with no annual fee, go to 56david.com/fresh. That's 56david.com/fresh to establish, enhance, and strengthen your credit. Team Hochberg has helped thousands of AM 560 listeners, but they can't help you if you don't visit 56david.com/fresh. Lower.com, Equal Housing Lender, NMLS 1124061.
Hey there, Charlie Kirk here. You've probably been hearing my colleagues and I talking about investing with Why Refi for a while now. You may have some questions, so let's review. It's true, you can earn up to 10.25% fixed rate of return that's not correlated to the stock market or the Fed. You could turn your income on or off, compound it whatever you choose, and there are absolutely no fees. There's no attack on principal if you ever need your money back, and you'll get your monthly statement with no surprises. Just go to investwhyrefi.com. That's invest the letter Y and then REFY.com, or call 888-YREFY24. Folks, this is a solid investment that actually helps people. Just go to investwhyrefi.com. That's invest the letter Y and then REFY.com, or call 888-YREFY24 and tell them that Charlie Kirk sent you. So call 888-YREFY24. Solid investment. It really helps people. Call 888-YREFY24 and tell them that Charlie Kirk sent you.
All right. It's no secret that I'm in love with Balance of Nature. Why? Now, I'm not getting enough fruits and vegetables on my own, and that's where Balance of Nature comes in. 6 capsules a day. I love it. No preservatives, no dyes. It's all natural. It's real fruit, real vegetables. And what they do is they take the fruits and veggies and they turn them into a powdered substance after an advanced vacuum cold process, which stabilizes the maximum nutrient content. 35 whole fruits and vegetables, real food, real nutrition, and people who take it love it. They have increased energy, and they get the nutrition their body needs. I met a woman over the weekend who has lost close to 60 pounds, and she attributes it to Balance of Nature, and she just raved, and so do I. Can't live without it. So be one of the cool kids. Get your bottles of fruits and veggies today. 800-246-8751. That's 800-246-8751. Use discount code Chicago for free shipping and 35% off your first preferred order of fruits and veggies. 800-246-8751 or go online to balanceofnature.com. Discount code Chicago.
AM 560, The Answer.
Dan and Amy, somebody texted, did I mean Kylie Minogue, one of the women who made an allegation against Russell Brand? No, I didn't. I meant Danny Minogue. That's Kylie's sister.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Sorry, you're so hip and in the know.
Well, I am. Matt on the South Side, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Hey, good morning, Dan. Good morning, Amy. One thing I just read about recently is that this Tim Ballard from
Sound of Freedom. Yeah.
Right. Yeah, Sound of Freedom. There you go. He's kind of become public enemy #1 in Hollywood, and now all of a sudden there's sexual allegations against him, sexual misconduct. So I don't understand. I mean, it looks like this is all political. And, my thing with this, celebrities being accused of sexual assault, I was just talking to my dad the other day, and I think from now on, if you got 15, 20 women coming together, 10, 15 years later, I said, fine, maybe the last one that was assaulted, we'll take that seriously. All the other ones before that should be charged with aiding and abetting.
Thanks for the comment. Yeah, I mean, Ballard, Tim Ballard is being accused of. It's not really sexual. They're not really sexual assaults. I haven't seen. It's like sexual misconduct.
Right.
This was Vice News did this piece on him. There's a handful of women.
Hit job.
He did separate from his anti-child trafficking organization, Operation Underground Railroad, and they made sort of a cryptic statement about doing an independent investigation, and we're updating our practices and so on and so forth, but we're not going to talk about this out of respect for the privacy of all parties involved. But then there's also this sort of high-profile repudiation of Ballard from the church. I guess he's Mormon. The Church of Latter-day Saints, a prominent leader in that church, said that he was separated. Ties between the church and Ballard had been cut because of Ballard's quote unquote morally unacceptable behavior. But I mean, I haven't really heard the specific. I mean, I guess the specific allegation is an affair, or affairs plural. I don't know, but I haven't heard anything that rises to the level of criminality alleged. I don't know. That's what I know about the Ballard case. So, but I mean, so there's other parties involved saying maybe Ballard didn't always act in the most judicious manner, but that's sort of still separate and distinct from saying anything about, his work that was profiled in the movie.
What he's accomplished in his life. I mean,
Well, that's what I mean.
Right.
So, so right. So some of this is like just, it's like a political campaign. And so you're just trying to smear people as best you can.
Well,
You use whatever information is out there to be used. That's all.
While he was trying to get kids out of human trafficking, they claim, according to the Vice article, they invited women to act as his wife on undercover overseas missions, ostensibly aimed at rescuing victims of sex trafficking.
Well, right. I mean, you sort of saw that represented in the movie to some extent with the female trafficker who if I'm remembering correctly, flipped to be part of the sting to catch other traffickers.
Right, and the lady said he would allegedly coerce them into sharing a bed or showering together, claiming that it was necessary to fool the traffickers. It makes sense.
Yeah,
to me.
right.
I mean, if you're going to go all in, you got to go all in.
Yeah, I mean, right. They're going to be sensitive to somebody infiltrating their organization, just like drug traffickers or any other criminal organization. Yeah, that does make sense. So, I mean, I'm not casting aspersions. I'm just describing the stories that are out about Ballard. And yeah, these are people that are not popular. And so if you get a story and you're a member of the D.C. Press Corps and you want to silence people who have opposing viewpoints, then you're going to take these things as far as you can take them. Do as much smearing as you can do with what's available.
He's popular right now, so get him.
There is something to that, for sure.
All right, coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer.
All right, we'll turn to matters dollar and cents with Don Boudreau from the Mercatus Center, George Mason University, 737.
But now let's head straight into that newsroom. The one and only. Here's Mike Scott.
732, 66 degrees, and we've had some storms out to the west this morning. There appears to be some good news when it comes to the Writers Guild strike. Tentative deal with Hollywood's top studios has apparently been reached. While union members still need to formally vote to end the walkout, actors will continue their strike until the SAG-AFTRA union also reaches a deal with the studios. House GOP conference scrambling to come up with a legislative plan to avoid a small, partial government shutdown. New York Republican Congressman Mark Molinaro on Fox and Friends this morning, saying he believes both sides will find common ground.
There are deeply held beliefs on both sides within the conference, but we agree on two fundamental things. This government spends too much and disrespects taxpayers, and we have to secure our border. That's what we're focused on, and we're inching closer, I think.
Members of the conservative House Freedom Caucus are demanding billions of dollars in spending cuts for the 2024 fiscal year, far more than what was agreed on in the debt ceiling talks in June. House Speaker Kevin McCarthy is also optimistic. Chicago police are increasing patrols around DePaul's Lincoln Park campus after several students were robbed near the quad yesterday at Belden and North Seminary and near the intersection of West Belden and North Racine. Meantime, Chicago police are also investigating a string of armed robberies in the South Deering neighborhood, at least 7 on Saturday. The Bears remain winless following a 41-10 loss to the Kansas City Chiefs at Arrowhead, giving up 27 in the second quarter. 3 Winnebago County Sheriff's deputies are hurt responding to a bomb call in Beloit, Wisconsin. 3 deputies were injured while disposing of dynamite. While Illinois' only school choice program remains in limbo, an expert on the subject is debunking school choice misconceptions. The Invest in Kids School Choice Scholarship Program is set to expire at the end of the year unless it is extended. Chicago Teachers Union has repeatedly claimed the privately funded scholarship program for low-income families diverts funds from public schools. Nathan Kadeen from the American Federation for Children says that's simply not true.
I don't see how you can say that that's taking money from anybody, especially because this is funded through a tax credit mechanism and doesn't touch public school budgets at all.
Kadeen notes that lawmakers like House Speaker Chris Welch and Senate President Don Harmon send their kids to private school.
I just think it's ridiculous and absolutely hypocritical that they would make those choices for their families and then actively work to deny that same opportunity to other less fortunate kids.
If not renewed during the fall veto session, Illinois would be the first state in the country to entirely eliminate an existing school choice program. Cubs beat the Rockies 4-3. They improved to 82-74 and are a solid game ahead of the Marlins for the third NL wildcard spot. White Sox beat the Red Sox 3-2. The news, a service of Protect and Grow with Tim Stearns. Saturdays at noon, enjoy weekly discussions to a secure retirement. And a check of traffic and weather is on the way next on AM 560.
Gas prices are still too high, and AM 560 and the Pride stores want to help ease your pain at the pump. Every Thursday morning in September, we're giving away $50 gift cards from the Pride stores to the first 56 customers who pump at least 5 gallons of gas between 7 and 8 a.m. at a specially selected location. To find out where, listen to Chicago's Morning Answer at 6:30 a.m. on Thursday morning. Then show up, fill up, and you could win a $50 gift card courtesy of the Pride stores at AM 560. The Answer.
Balance of Nature, changing the world one life at a time.
I gained a lot of weight because I was so bored. All I did was bake and eat, okay? And I knew I wasn't eating right, and I wasn't feeling right, and I didn't have any energy. And I said, I'm going to give it a shot. I'm going to try it. Not only did it give me energy and help me feel better, but I've lost 35 pounds. I know Balance of Nature is not a weight loss type program, and it may not work for everybody that way, but for me it has, and it's given me energy. And I've been able to do stuff that I haven't been able to do in years.
Start your journey to better health with Balance of Nature. Call 1-800-246-8751 or go to balanceofnature.com to get 35% off your first preferred order with free shipping and our money-back guarantee. That's 1-800-246-8751. Go to balanceofnature.com or call 1-800-246-8751 and get this special offer by using discount code CHICAGO.
Former CIA officer and survival expert Jason Hansen here. I teach people how to prepare for the unexpected. Right now, most Americans are not ready for the death of the US dollar. You have money sitting in cash, and if you don't act soon, your financial future could be at risk. I have partnered with Advantage Gold, the #1 rated precious metals company in America, to release my new digital dollar survival kit that's 100% free for everyone who calls today and claims your free survival kit. Simply call 800-900-8000 and give your email address, and I will have this new digital dollar survival kit sent to you immediately. Call 1-800-900-8000 now and claim your free kit, and also mention my name, Jason Hansen, and see how you could also qualify for $1,000 in free silver. Supplies are limited, so call right now before it's too late. Call 800-900-8000.
Advantage Gold is not an investment advisor or a tax advisor. Check with your financial advisor before investing.
Call 800-900-8000.
7:38 Team Hochberg Traffic Center time is a service of the Fireplace and Chimney Authority, Chicagoland's largest and most respected their showrooms in Lisle or Elmhurst, or online, fireplaceandchimneyauthority.com. The Kennedy sitting at 70 minutes, O'Hare to the Burns Circle interchange. Right now, the Ike at an hour from 390 to the old post office. Stevenson inbound is an hour, 355 to DuSable Lakeshore Drive. Dan Ryan, 30 minutes, 95th into the Burns Circle interchange. Reagan, I-88, an accident eastbound at Eola Road. Veterans, that's I-355 southbound side, just south of Bruce Road, an accident with the left lane blocked. Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. AM 560 Weather Center forecast. Variable clouds with a shower in the area, high 76. Mostly cloudy, brief shower or two for the overnight, low 62. 66 at O'Hare, 65 along the lakefront. Your next news update is at 8. Chicago's Morning Answer continues next on AM 560 The Answer.
This hourly segment brought to you by Unleash Your Wealth with Raj Shah and Rick Borick this Saturday at 7 a.m. and 2 p.m. Learn more at scwealthadvisors.com.
Listen to AM 560 The Answer online at 560theanswer.com, on the AM 560 mobile app, on your Alexa-powered smart speaker, and on TuneIn, iHeart, and on Odyssey. Now, from the Signature Bank Studios, this is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson. Only the biggest stories, only the biggest guests, and only the biggest opinions. This is AM 560, The Answer.
Top of the morning, Dan and Amy. Jake from the State Department announced last week Penny Pritzker is back in the game.
She is.
Penny Pritzker is going to lead Ukraine's economic recovery. Just as I saw Zelensky was dining with Ken Griffin and other billionaires, I guess, trying to get whatever he can from them that he can't get from the United States taxpayer.
Let me guess, he was wearing army green color. Never takes it off.
Penny Pritzker is going to manage Ukraine's economic recovery.
Well, they are Ukrainian, because Pritzker mentions that all the time. My grandfather was a Ukrainian Jewish man who came to this country.
Penny Pritzker was also a principal at Superior Bank. You may recall this when she was leveled up to be Commerce Secretary under President Obama, Joe Obama terms 1 and 2 during that period. And she was essentially the finance chairman of Obama's political career, starting in the state Senate to U.S. Senate to president. Superior Bank failed in 2001, taken over by the government. Superior paid the bank $460 million over 15 years. That was the deal to avoid litigation and to try to insulate the Pritzker reputation as much as possible. Failure left about 1,400 depositors out, about $15 million. And Superior Bank's failure, where she was the CEO for a time and then she was on the board. 2002 report by the GAO found that the primary responsibility for the failure of Superior Bank resides with its owners and managers. Its strategy resulted in a high concentration of extremely risky assets, The high concentration of risky assets and the improper valuation of these assets ultimately led to Superior's failure. That's the woman who's going to rebuild Ukraine from the bottom up. Okay. Sure. I'm sure Jamie Dimon and other Wall Street titans will assist the effort. The patriots that they are. For more on this, pleased to be joined by Don Boudreau. He is an American economist, author, professor, co-director of the program on the American economy and globalization at the Mercatus Center. That's at George Mason University. He joins us now. Don, thanks for being with us. Appreciate it.
Always a pleasure. You guys in Illinois are really lucky. You've populated with superheroes. You have a mayor who can now run grocery stores.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I mean, it's just amazing the talent that's in that state.
We do have an unbelievable concentration of talent. It sort of defies the odds, really.
And they're all in politics. It's astonishing. Yeah.
Well, that's where the money is, it turns out.
They may be sinister, but they're not foolish.
Some bring it and make more, and some bring none of it and make it. But it's a lot of money to be distributed when you've got, more units of government than any state in the nation. That's a lot of opportunity for grifting, and there are a lot of opportunists here. Penny Pritzker at the top of the list. But, this is the whole thing, too, about, tell me again about the war effort and these blank checks that a large percentage of both parties want to write Ukraine, even as Poland, by the way, is pulling back. I thought Poland is going to be one of the next dominoes that falls, but apparently they don't believe so. So I'm just this is the whole. Even if it's you want to repel an invasion by a dictator like Putin's invasion, then you have all these complications that these kleptocrats just make it impossible to feel good about.
Well, yeah. I mean, Putin's invasion is unquestionably an evil deed. My position has always been, I'm not a specialist in foreign policy, but my position has always been that the U.S. government should be really, really prudent before it gets involved in any sort of foreign affairs. I mean, I'm just old enough to remember Vietnam and what a mess that was. I was still a young man at the time. And so I do worry about the arrogance that people have about the ability of American arms and American dollars to somehow magically turn things around. But my bottom line conclusion on this is it's very complicated, and I think we should have more humility about it.
Well, did you watch the 60 Minutes piece last night where they talked about where the actual money is going to, and we've given them $70 billion, and most of it's going to fund and pay the salaries for Ukrainian first responders and for the people that are in charge of the search dogs.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to track when you look. It's hard to track money inside of the city of Chicago.
Yeah, no kidding.
How difficult is it to track American taxpayer money when it's going to a foreign country? You just have to expect that things like this are going to happen.
Well, but we need more first responders here in Chicago.
Just the whole thing. Everything is a Marshall Plan. We need a Marshall Plan to rebuild. We hear this all the time in Chicago. Marshall Plan for the South and West Sides. We need a Marshall Plan for this. We need a Marshall Plan for Ukraine. We need a Marshall Plan for Haiti. Everything's a Marshall Plan. I mean, it's just we got into supporting the Ukrainians to repel the Russians, and okay, I can appreciate that. I agree with you, of course. The invasion was an evil act. But now we're going to have our industrial policy experts, alleged as they are. They're going to go and marshal the rebuilding of Ukraine's economy. I mean, that sounds like, oh, that's a wonderful thing, but I mean, as you say, come on.
It's not going to work. It's not going to work, by the way, no matter whose money is spent to do it. Those kinds of schemes to uplift an economy are destined to fail. You can't have bureaucrats and politicians allocating resources in contradiction to market forces and expect that the outcome is going to be good. By the way, the Marshall Plan, if you actually look at the performance of the Marshall Plan, it's way oversold.
I know.
Europe emerged from the war to the extent that Europe liberalized its economies and adopted market prices, the price system. We have this myth about the Marshall Plan today. Maybe at the margins it did some good, but it was not the magic sauce that brought West Germany and Europe back from the ruins. It was to the extent to which those countries liberalized their economies and adopted market institutions.
Yeah, the country that performed the best, I mean, since we're in this part of the world, that performed the best after the wall fell in '89, coming out of the ravages of communist domination, was Estonia. Because the president of Estonia at the time was this 35-year-old Friedmanite who wanted to make Estonia basically the Baltic Hong Kong of the time.
Yeah, and the proof is in the pudding. Estonia really did perform very well. History is pretty clear on this. The more restricted the economy, the greater the intrusion of politicians and bureaucrats in allocating resources, the worse the economy performs. I don't care, even if Ms. Pritzker had been the greatest success in American banking history, there is no way that she is going to direct the Ukrainian economy into some paradise. It's just not going to happen. It cannot happen.
Well, Dan, excuse me for going off script here. Weren't you a DJ in Estonia?
No,
you're a rap star. What did you do?
No, I was I bartended for a night at a rave that was hosted by Freedom Front, which was a libertarian anti-government organization in Stockholm.
Oh, not in
Yeah.
Estonia.
When I went to the World Libertarian Convention in Tallinn, then I went over to Stockholm, Don, and then and then I had a little foray as a bartender.
Well, that sounds like fun.
Yeah, it was. It was actually pretty fun. It was pretty
Did
fun.
you get a lot of tips, or they don't tip?
Yeah,
too much?
yeah. I was very big in Stockholm. I was in Stockholm like David Hasselhoff is in Germany. I was that. It was.
I'll
that
let
big.
my cousins know if they.
Yeah.
I'll ask them if they know your name.
Hey, you wrote a piece about the trade war, which tends to be pretty popular these days in both parties. This sort of sticking it to enemies of America that are bad actors, often like the Chinese communists, and but the punishing our adversaries or even our enemies with tariffs is not a winner for America, you argue.
That's exactly right. This is a piece that Phil Graham and I had in Wall Street Journal a few weeks ago. Tariffs are paid by Americans. American tariffs are paid by Americans, by and large. It does impose some harm on foreign countries. They're able to sell us fewer things, but the very reason they're able to sell us fewer things is because the tariffs artificially raise our cost of living by raising the prices of the things that we get to consume. And so the main effect of tariffs is to immediately reduce the standard of living of Americans. And this is what happened with the Chinese tariffs. If in that piece we had this, and I double checked it with the data, Trump's steel tariffs and aluminum tariffs were designed to protect jobs in those industries. Combined, those industries, when those tariffs were imposed in 2018 and 2019, had about 168,000 workers in America because it's also mechanized. The number of workers in American industries that use steel and aluminum was about 36 workers for every one worker who actually work at producing steel and aluminum. And so what about those workers? They're unseen. And so because the price of steel and aluminum was increased due to these tariffs, the cost of operating the factories in America that use steel or aluminum as inputs, that went up. That reduced wages or reduced some employment in those industries. The effect on manufacturing employment was very, very modest. And after the tariffs started to take effect, the actual effect on manufacturing output was lower in America. Manufacturing output was lower at the very start of the pandemic. It was lower well into the pandemic, but let's forget about the pandemic. It was lower at the start of the pandemic than it was at the time the Trump tariffs were announced. It did not increase output in America's overall manufacturing sector, and it no doubt in my mind, and there's some evidence for this, and no doubt in my mind, pushed down real wages, made real wage growth lower than it would otherwise have been.
There was this interesting paper on 50 years of industrial policy. These two eggheads from the Peterson Institute looked at 18 U.S. industrial policy episodes implemented between 1970 and 2020, and they sort of categorized what the different industrial policy gambit was intended to do. And what they concluded was that the effect on they looked at the effect on U.S. competitiveness in global markets, whether the annual cost per job saved or created in the sector was reasonable, and whether support advanced the technological frontier. And what they essentially found is that import protection does not create a competitive U.S. industry. It imposes extreme costs on household and business users per job year saved. Trade policy concentrated on opening markets is a better bet. And designating a single firm to advance technology yields inconsistent results. They said among the 18 cases, the incidents with the incident or the episode with the most return, the best record, was DARPA, the Defense Advanced Research Projects Agency. But I mean,
that was more general. That really wasn't directed at a particular industries. Yeah,
right. So I mean, it's all these sort of things that you would expect. I mean, I don't really understand to some extent what we're arguing about here, because like their conclusions, they take a long time to get there, but their conclusions are what you would expect if you passed an Econ 101 course.
Absolutely. And it's what you would expect if you had read similar studies that were done in the 1980s when there was the last time a fever in the U.S. for industrial policy. People studied it back then. By the way, one of the people back in the 1980s or even 70s who was studying industrial policy was Charles Schultz, who was a Democratic, he's an economist, very good economist, but he was in the Carter administration, so he was no Republican, and he came to the same conclusion. Anyone who knows any economics or who knows any economic history knows that these industrial policies never, ever, ever improve the economies that they are supposed to improve. They worsen the economies. They may, in some instances, help particular industries, but so what? The object is to improve overall standards of living, overall economic mobility, overall growth in wages and incomes. Industrial policies simply fail to do that again and again and again.
He is Don Boudreau, an American economist, author, professor, co-director of the program on the American economy and globalization at the Mercatus Center. That's at George Mason University. Also catch his work at Cafe Hayek, the blog Cafe Hayek. Don Boudreau, thanks as always. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you. And he joined us on our turnkey.pro answer line.
Listen to podcasts of Dan and Amy from the AM 560 mobile app. Download it today at 560theanswer.com/mobile.
I'm Scott, the owner of Solid Fire Pits. When I began welding my custom-made fire pits for friends and family, I shared them on TikTok because I was just so proud of them. Check it out. That's beautiful. I posted every new fire pit design, and more people kept ordering, from 26 states and counting. Then on my birthday, I had my best sales ever. Now how can the universe beat that?
Solid Fire Pits is just one of the 5 million U.S. businesses that rely on TikTok every day. TikTok sparks business.
Are you a small business owner? Then listen up. We want to tell you about locally owned and operated Turnkey IT. Does your business have a problem that needs fixing? Whether you need to change your financial picture, strengthen your leadership team, or help with IT management, Turnkey has solutions. Make Turnkey your small business partner and get ready to streamline success. Inflation, economic downturn don't have to impact your business. With the right partner, you can make a change. And now until September 30th, that's coming up, Turnkey is offering the first and last month of services at no cost. Yes, that's right. Sign up with Turnkey for any of their IT or business solutions, and your first and last months are free. You'll save hundreds or even thousands of dollars. You know, they have decades of C-suite experience from their consulting team to over 25 years of managed IT services. They get stuff done. I know. I've used them before. And Turnkey knows small businesses. They know how to reduce your costs, grow new revenue streams, and more without having to hire an on-site professional. There's still time, folks, to make an impact for the second half of this year. Let Turnkey show you how. Turnkey is Chicago's small business champion. Visit turnkey.pro to start a conversation today. That's turnkey.pro.
The best way to stop Joe Biden's agenda is to opt out of his inflation game by diversifying your savings into gold. I'm Dr. Ron Paul, and this is why I recommend a gold IRA from Birch Gold Group. To learn more, text the word SHELTER to 989898 to get a free info kit on gold. Birch Gold is the only gold company I trust. So text SHELTER to 989898 right now.
Paid for by Birch Gold Group. You're smart, you're busy, and don't have time to waste on the mainstream media cycle. Salem News Channel breaks that cycle. Topics that matter from hosts worth watching. Dinesh D'Souza, Andrew Wilkow, Brandon Tatum, and more. Open debate and free speech you won't find anywhere else. Salem News Channel, not like the other guys. Watch anytime on any screen, free 24/7. Find everything you need to know at snc.tv. That's snc.tv.
Balance of Nature, changing the world one life at a time.
I gained a lot of weight because I was so bored. All I did was bake and eat, okay? And I knew I wasn't eating right, and I wasn't feeling right, and I didn't have any energy. And I said, I'm going to give it a shot. I'm going to try it. Not only did it give me energy and help me feel better, but I've lost 35 pounds. I know Balance of Nature is not a weight loss type program, and it may not work for everybody that way, but for me it has, and it's given me energy. And I've been able to do stuff that I haven't been able to do in years.
Start your journey to better health with Balance of Nature. Call 1-800-246-8751 or go to balanceofnature.com to get 35% off your first preferred order with free shipping and our money-back guarantee. That's 1-800-246-8751. Go to balanceofnature.com or call 1-800-246-8751 and get this special offer by using discount code CHICAGO.
AM 560, The Answer.
All right, coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer.
At 8:08, we'll talk to Atlanta mom, Kyla Posey. She's the one who filed a federal discrimination complaint against the elementary school in Atlanta for segregating kids by race. 8:08.
Don't miss it. But now into the newsroom we go. Here's Mike Scott.
Several DePaul students robbed on campus, and the Bears routed by the Chiefs. WIND Chicago News Time, 8.
It's not enough to get Hollywood back to work. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News, but striking writers have worked out a tentative deal with studios.
In an email to members last night, the Writers Guild of America wrote, "We can say with great pride that this deal is exceptional with meaningful gains and protections for writers in every sector of the membership, seeking pay hikes for streamed content as well as increased job security. Although a deal has been reached between WGA and the Alliance of Motion Pictures and Television Producers, the contract still has to be finalized and eventually ratified by the Guild's 11,000 members."
Fox's Alexandria Hoff. Actors are still on strike, so writers are encouraged to keep picketing with them. It's day 11 of the auto workers' strike, expanded Friday to 38 GM and Stellantis parts distribution centers. Fox Business Network's Jeff Flock is at one in Center Line, Michigan.
They are cash cows for the automakers because this is a place where if you have a breakdown or you need a new, oil filter, whatever it is, this is where it comes from.
Tomorrow, President Biden will go to Michigan to join picketing auto workers. Former President Trump will go there Wednesday. He leads the president by 10 points in a new ABC News Washington Post poll of registered voters in a potential Trump-Biden rematch. Just 3 in 10 voters in that poll approve of the president's handling of the economy, and
62% disapprove of the job he's doing on immigration.
After last week's big surge of migrants crossing the border illegally, Fox's Peter Ducey's at the White House.
You cannot find any Democrats saying, we think the border is in great shape. We think that the White House is doing a great job with the border, with immigration policy. The closest that you can get to that is some Democrats who say they think the coverage is a little bit overheated.
In the NFL, a false start for the Pittsburgh Steelers on their flight home from Las Vegas after beating the Raiders last night 23-18. Their plane had to make an emergency landing in Kansas City with an engine issue. A Steelers spokesman says everyone is safe and they're planning to get back to Pittsburgh today. America's listening to Fox News.
66 degrees at 8:02 on AM 560. The Answer. Good morning. I'm Mike Scott. Chicago police are increasing patrols today around DePaul's Lincoln Park campus after several students were robbed. Several robberies happened yesterday at the Quad near Belden and North Seminary, then more near the intersection of West Belden and North Racine. Meantime, Chicago police are also investigating a string of armed robberies in the South Deering neighborhood. All told, about 7 on Saturday morning. At least 29 people have been shot, 3 fatally in weekend gun violence across the city, including an 86-year-old man being murdered
It's
in the Auburn
heartbreaking
Gresham
that
neighborhood.
He's no longer here for stupidity. He went to get something out the car and never made it back in the house.
Police say Charles Hobson Sr. was getting something out of his truck when he was shot. The truck was stolen. Later, police took 3 into custody found nearby. The Bears remained winless following a 41-10 loss to Kansas City at Arrowhead Stadium. Chicago had 203 yards of total offense. Justin Fields, 99 yards, a touchdown, and an interception. They host the Sadsack Broncos on Sunday. More buses carrying illegal immigrants were brought to the city over the weekend, including the largest number of buses in a single day since the start of the operation. 12 buses were expected to arrive in total over the weekend, 5 on Saturday, and as expected, around 7 on Sunday. Patrick Wisdom, the go-ahead home run as the Cubs beat the Rockies 4-3 at Wrigley Field. White Sox over the Red Sox 3-2. The news a service of Cabino Environmental. Home and business owners use the Cabino oil stain remover because it's the most powerful oil stain lifting formula on the market. Cabino oil stain remover is available at all 8 Rental Max locations. 8:04 time for the AM 560 Business Beat, a service of Signature Bank. Visit signaturebank.bank for all your commercial banking needs. Now, the latest from the Fox Business Network.
I'm Elizabeth McDonald, and this is the Fox Business Report.
Stock futures are flat. The tentative deal in the writers' strike is pushing media stocks higher. There are new concerns about China's economy. Property developer Evergrande scrapped a $35 billion debt restructuring plan. The Wall Street Journal says Meta Platforms is working on new artificial intelligence chatbot characters with distinctive personalities to attract younger users. Lego has decided to abandon its efforts to make toys from recycled materials because the switch actually resulted in even higher carbon emissions. Lego was working on the transition to ditch oil-based plastics from its bricks. It wasn't able to find a material that was environment-friendly but had the same color, shine, and sound. That's your Fox Business Report. I'm Ginny Cosola, invested in you.
Freedom Summit Chicago tickets are now on sale. Join AM 560, The Answer, on November 11th at the Westin Chicago Northwest for Freedom Summit, featuring Rand Paul, Judge Janine Pirro from Fox News, Dan Proft, Amy Jacobson, Sean Thompson, and many more. Tickets are on sale now at freedomsummitchicago.com. That's freedomsummitchicago.com. Sponsored in part by St. John's Lutheran School in Lombard, Tom Mirabali, independent insurance agent with Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Illinois, and by overheaddoorchicago.com.
If you trade stocks, then you know avoiding pitfalls is the biggest challenge for both new and experienced investors. Vantage Point's dual patented artificial intelligence provides a powerful solution to this problem by offering predictive accuracy, emotional neutrality, and diverse market forecasts for today's active traders. Vantage Point's AI analyzes billions of data points in seconds, so you get highly accurate predicted market conditions for the next trading day. Take the emotion out of your trading. Text the word money to 813-813. Navigate the financial markets with confidence using AI. Text MONEY to 813-813 right now to learn more for free. Text money to 813-813 to experience the benefits of AI in your trading. Trading involves financial risk and is not suitable for all investors. Past results do not guarantee future performance. By texting, you agree to the terms available at VantagePointSoftware.com and consent to receive calls and texts using automated technology about offers or info by or on behalf of Vantage Point. Your consent is not a condition to purchase and can be revoked at any time. Message and data rates may apply. Text the word money to 813-813.
The Tunnel to Towers Foundation delivers on its promise to do good and never forget the sacrifices of America's greatest heroes. Heroes who risk their lives for our communities and our country. Heroes like United States Marine Corps Captain and pilot John Jeremy Sachs. He sustained fatal injuries when his military aircraft crashed during training. Tunnel to Towers provided his wife and 2 daughters with a mortgage-free home. Join Tunnel to Towers on its mission to do good in their honor. Donate $11 a month at T2T.org.
All right, this just in, Pure Talk just added more 5G data to every plan and is now including a mobile hotspot with no price increase at all whatsoever. Just $20 a month for unlimited talk, unlimited text, and now 50% more 5G data, plus you get mobile hotspot. Start saving today. Go to puretalk.com, enter the promo code Sean, S-E-A-N, to make the switch to Pure Talk, and you do it now, you'll save an additional 50% off your first month. That's puretalk.com, promo code Sean.
It is 8:08. Let's get an update on the roads. Team Hochberg Traffic Center time. And the inbound Kennedy has just fallen underneath an hour. It's 58 minutes, O'Hare into the Burns Circle interchange. The Icon, an hour 8 from 390 into the old post office. Stevenson, an hour 4 from 355 into DuSable Lakeshore Drive. Watching I-57 in the Bishopport jamming into the Ryan merge. The Reagan right now slow because of an accident on the eastbound side of 88 at Eola Road. Indiana Toll Road, eastbound after State Road 149, you'll run into stop-and-go traffic. Accident in Naperville at Naper Boulevard and 75th. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next. AM 560 Weather Center forecast with Steve Williams.
Variable cloudiness, a shower in the area today, high 76. Clouds, a brief shower tonight, low 62. Cloudy shower and thunderstorm for tomorrow, a high at 69. Clouds and a passing shower Wednesday, high again 69. I'm Steve Williams on AM 560, The Answer.
66 at O'Hare, 65 Lakefront. Next news 8:30. Chicago's Morning Answer continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by NJ Diet. Lose 20 to 40 pounds in just 40 days. Call 855-NJ-DIET or NJDiet.com.
Listen to AM 560 The Answer online at 560theanswer.com, on the AM 560 mobile app, on your Alexa-powered smart speaker, and on TuneIn, iHeart, and on Odyssey. Now, from the Signature Bank Studios, this is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560. The Answer.
Top of the morning, Dan and Amy. We touched upon this but earlier in the program, but let's do so again per our upcoming guest. Miguel Cardona is the education secretary. And
he's no Rhodes Scholar, I can tell you that.
No, he isn't. He had this to say about parents, effectively parents insinuating themselves into the operation of their kids' schools and sending the message that you're either on his team or the bad team that's fighting against kids. He's on the good team fighting for kids.
You know, I've been in education, about 25 years, not including the time I was in higher ed as a student. I've never seen it where it is now. There was civility. We could disagree. We could have healthy conversations around what's best for kids. I respect differences of opinion. I don't have too much respect for people that are misbehaving in public and then acting as if they know what's right for kids. Or people that have a problem when we're trying to provide some support to folks who are buried in debt and complain about a $10,000 support for thousands of their constituents, but are okay taking over $1 million in loan forgiveness themselves as an elected official. That hypocrisy, I want to call it out at the top of this conversation, because there's a team that's fighting for kids and there's a team that's fighting against kids.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. What is it, which team is the team that wants to kids to have scholarships so they can go to schools where the rich and the politically connected send their kids? Which team is that? Is that team fighting for kids or fighting against kids? Miguel. Confusing. Which team is this? Which team is our next guest on, Kyla Posey? She filed a federal discrimination complaint a couple years ago. We brought you this story when it first surfaced.
Oh, yeah.
This is one of the most astounding stories I've heard as you span the country when it comes to K through 12 education and bad practices. Filed a federal discrimination complaint against Mary Lynn Elementary School in Atlanta, did Kyla Posey, after learning her daughter had been placed in a class only for black students. The elementary school set up 2 classes for black students and 6 classes for white students. Kyla Posey's daughter, as I understand it, wanted to take a particular teacher. She was told she can't have that teacher because that teacher teaches the white students, and you're in the black students. This is what year?
I know.
Is this pre-Brown v. Board of Education? So anyway, Kyla Posey, is she on the team fighting for kids or on the team fighting against kids? What would Miguel Cardona, wholly owned subsidiary of the teachers unions, have to say? I wonder. You literally had segregation of kids by race going on in this Atlanta elementary school. It's astounding, but it's true. That was happening, and I understand the principal didn't pretend it wasn't happening. They defended the practice. Provides more opportunity. A elementary school principal in Atlanta just overturned Brown v. Board of Education. We're back in Plessy v. Ferguson days at this Atlanta elementary school. Can you believe this?
And what are we doing about it?
Kyla Posey is doing a lot about it. She joins us now. She's the mother who filed a federal discrimination complaint against Maryland Elementary School, and she joins us at this juncture. Kyla, thanks so much for joining us. Appreciate it.
Thanks for having me here.
So, yeah. So, just tell us, I guess, how your daughter's doing and where things stand with the school and your litigation.
Sure. So, this has been a long journey for my family. It's been long and hard. It's emotional to think that we're having conversations about segregation in 2023. This conversation started because the principal there were probably about, the school that we attend is predominantly white. There's maybe about 12 kids that were black in her second grade class, and as a whole, the second grade. And the principal decided to take all of those 12 students and place them in 2 of the 6 classes, not allowing them to be placed in the other classes. If you were white or of any other descent, you could be placed in any of the 6 classes. But if you were black, you only had 2 options, which was a huge problem for me. A, it's not right. B, my children should have the same rights as everyone else in that school and the same access as everyone in that school, and that was denied by that principal.
And your daughter wanted a different teacher, right? She didn't want to be in that class with that particular teacher.
So, correct. My husband at the time worked for the school. He was the school psychologist, and this principal had allowed staff to select teachers. Most principals in schools, they do have that same policy. I've worked in the school district and been a teacher before for over 20 some years, and that's always been the case. So I didn't think anything of it when she allowed that practice for staff to select. So I did most of the legwork for our family and placement. And we thought that this particular teacher would be a better fit for our daughter educationally. And apparently that was not one of the teachers that she had selected as what she called the black classes.
I don't understand. So she argued, the principal I'm talking about now, who is also black, right?
Yeah.
That is correct.
So she argued this would provide more opportunities for black students. How?
That was my question.
And what was her
What
answer?
was the answer?
She said that it built community, and I said that's not your job. As a parent, it's my job to provide them with a stable community. They have cousins. They have a black experience, so to speak, in our household. We teach our daughters to be friends with everyone, no matter race, creed, color, whatever. You be kind to everyone. And also, we want them to understand that there may come a time where they may be the only Black person at the table. And that's okay. And people need to be comfortable with that. Shutting them into a room is not okay. And
Now,
it's creating
Yeah. No, go on. I'm sorry. I didn't interrupt.
I was just saying that it creates an environment that people don't have to deal with Black children.
Yeah, right.
It's really unfortunate.
Yeah. You mentioned that your husband works at the school. Did they run this by him or other administrators before doing this?
No, they didn't. Apparently, the administrative team was aware of this practice, and they just went along with it. No one challenged her.
It's just astounding.
What year is this? I mean, really?
No one said. God, no one said, hey, are we sure that segregating kids by race is a good idea? Didn't we have experience in this country doing that before? That was bad, wasn't it? Or am I misremembering our history? What did
we asked that question to the assistant principal, and her response was that she was aware that it was happening, and that was the principal's decision. And she is also Black, which was mind blowing.
And what about the other parents? I mean, did Black and white students alike? Did anyway? I mean, especially when word got out about this, did you have parents rallying around your initiative to stop this practice?
It was interesting. There were quite a few parents that did rally in support, and then there were parents that thought it was totally okay because they felt like she was a good principal. And I explained to them, this has nothing to do with, or she's a good person. And I said, this has nothing to do with whether or not she's a good person or not, or whether I like her. It's against the law.
Right.
That's full stop.
Right.
So it doesn't matter.
So
I don't. I mean, I'm just having a hard time understanding how people don't look at this and say, are we back in the Jim Crow South? Is this what we want to do? And you're just going to you're sort of going to dress it up as this is providing more opportunity. I know we want society to be integrated. As you just said, we want everybody to have equal rights, equal access, and chart their own course, parents involved. And this is just lunacy. I'm surprised this hasn't gotten more notoriety, frankly.
I mean, it was quite alarming for us. After we reported her, and the other piece, we were working with the district. We had notified them at least, I would say, maybe a year to a year and a half before we even filed with the Department of Ed. So we were trying to work with the school district and telling them, hey, this isn't right. What can you do? This needs to stop. And the district could not, they just couldn't get the principal under control. She kept retaliating. She was trying to move my husband's office. She tried to cancel my contracts. I'm an after-school provider. That was one of my schools. She tried to cancel my contract. She had another principal cancel my contract. It was so much retaliation going on. And then at that point, I was like, listen, we've been sitting here quiet, allowing you to work through this. And she continues to do all of these things. Like, she's not just going to keep beating up on my family. And at that point, we felt like we didn't have a choice but to file. So then when we filed, it became worse. They started to retaliate against my daughter. There was a teacher saying really mean and cruel things to my daughter about me. One of my daughter got injured by another student. And they didn't do any. They didn't do an incident report. She told me she didn't feel that she needed to. They never investigated it. To this day, that happened over a year ago. I've yet to receive an investigative report from the district. So people, have jumped to her, just her praise. And the reality of the situation is people don't know half of the story. So what you've seen in the news reports, that's probably only a quarter of the turmoil our family has had been put through and had to go through.
Well, I was going to ask you how your daughters are doing, and have they been? Are they still enrolled at that school?
We took our girls out this current school year. Our school our neighborhood was rezoned due to overcrowding, and we were rezoned to another school. And because we had completely lost faith in the district and them being fair and impartial to our daughters, and given the incidents with staff that they had not followed up on, we didn't feel like it was a safe environment. It's sad when your fourth grader comes home and says, or she's now in the fifth grade. She's at a different school, and the first day of school, I asked her, how do you like your new school? Is it working for you? Did you feel comfortable? And she said, Mommy, for once I felt like I went to school and the teachers were going to be nice to me.
Oh.
Were her exact words, which breaks your heart.
Yeah.
I assume the Atlanta school system is probably run similar to Chicago, where you've got mayoral control of the school system, and if that's true, so any response from any politicians, city council, legislators, local, the mayor's office, local school board members, whether appointed or elected? I mean, anybody saying anything about this other than you?
Mayor's office was absolutely quiet, said absolutely nothing. My senators, Ossoff and Warnock, were very involved and engaged and wanted to see that this, got cleared up, and they were very supportive. However, everyone else, I haven't heard a mumbling word. There's some representatives that were supportive in trying to help push, things along, because it was taking so long for them to even come back and say that they would investigate. Since our initial complaint, we filed probably 2 or 3 others, because we had a retaliation complaint. We filed retaliation for our daughters. We filed retaliation complaints against my husband. They actually had my husband sit out the whole year at home. He had to work from home while the principal still reported to school as if nothing happened, and said he was basically he was creating a hostile work environment, which was interesting, because when the news broke, my husband wasn't even in the building. He hadn't been in the building for at least over a week, because we knew that we were going to file, and he had already spoken with his supervisor and let them know. So they knew that he wasn't in the building. So I'm, pressed as to how does he create a hostile work environment and he's not there.
Right. And so these complaints are sitting in the bowels of the Department of Education somewhere, or at DOJ, or where are they at this point? Do you know?
They're correct. So they're at the DOJ, Department of Ed. They have acknowledged that they have our complaint at this time. They have, I'm assuming, working through all of the nuances. Like I said, it's so many moving parts to all of it, because, when we brought this to light, opposed to fixing the problem, it just, the principal ballooned it into something that it didn't need to be, and added another level with the retaliation. So now you have complaint after complaint after complaint, because she just kept going.
Is she still doing this, segregating kids by race?
I am not for sure what she's doing, because we no longer go to that school.
Right, but after you called her out and you brought this to public attention, she persisted with this?
So after we called her out, they did an internal investigation, the third in command in the district, and she did an investigation, and she reported back to us that, yes, this was going on. The principal admitted that she was doing it. My understanding is that they requested that the practice stop immediately, which was great news for us. We were like, okay, they're going to stop it. However, they didn't redistribute the classes. And this was a COVID year. There were many moving parts. However, when you've been made known that they're segregating classes, then you need to go in and you need to create new class lists.
Yeah, right.
They did not do that.
Huh.
They did not do that at all. My other understanding was that she was supposed to turn in her class list to her superior to check over. Do I know if that happened? I have no idea.
Not to mention, I mean, just letting all the kids know what happened. That's wrong. That's not what That's not what we're going to do. But obviously, if she's still in charge, you're never going to get that kind of admission or that kind of accountability.
You are correct. I would agree.
Kyla Posey is the mom who filed a federal discrimination complaint against Maryland Elementary School in Atlanta after learning that her daughter was being segregated by her race in classes, as we were just discussing. Kyla, thanks so much for joining us. Good luck with the complaints that you have filed. Best of luck with your daughters as well. And, thank you for stepping up on this. I know obviously you described all the turmoil that your family has had to endure, but we need good people to stand up when bad things are happening, and you did.
Absolutely. I will continue.
Good for you.
Thank you, Kyla.
You definitely have our support. And she joined us on our turnkey.pro answer line.
There's only one radio show in Chicago talking about today's biggest stories and telling you what they really mean. That show is this one, Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560, The Answer.
Signature Bank is Chicago's fastest growing independently owned business bank, a bank where relationships still matter. I'm Dan Proft, and I know this because Signature Bank is my business bank.
Hey all, Jim Carr here. I am the owner of Car Machine and Tool in Elk Grove Village and loyal customer of Signature Bank. As a second-generation owner, I knew I had to shift from operating as an old-school machine shop to what I can proudly say is now one of the fastest-growing aerospace manufacturing facilities in the region. Signature Bank was there every step of the way through our expansion efforts, including financing our new state-of-the-art facility. Their valuable industry expertise and constant communication throughout the construction process made our vision possible. Many thanks to Signature Bank for supporting Car Machine and Tool. You set the bar high for other banks.
Signature Bank helps local businesses succeed. Want to learn how Signature Bank can help turn your business vision into reality? Visit signaturebank.bank. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Balance of Nature, changing the world one life at a time.
I retired 3 years ago, and I've been hearing your ads on the radio for years. And finally, when I moved, I went through this flurry of activity, and all of a sudden, after a couple months after the painting was done and the unpacking and the putting away and everything, because I moved to a different state, and I said, you know what? I'm going to get some of that and try it. I'm telling you, it was like I was a whole new person. I could have given a 3-year-old a run for his money.
Start your journey to better health with Balance of Nature. Call 1-800-246-8751 or go to balanceofnature.com to get 35% off your first preferred order with free shipping and our money-back guarantee. That's 1-800-246-8751. Go to balanceofnature.com or call 1-800-246-8751 and get this special offer by using discount code CHICAGO.
AM 560, The Answer.
All right, coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer.
At 8:38, we'll talk to our friend Dr. Leonard Sachs, our boys' schools, all boys' schools, the answer to the boy crisis in K through 12. We'll start there with Leonard Sachs at 8:38.
Or are you a better parent if you're a conservative? Now let's head into the newsroom. Here is Mike Scott.
Rain showers in the area, 66 degrees at 8:31. Authorities are expected to begin allowing the first residents and property owners to return to devastated properties on the island of Maui today in the town of Lahaina, demolished by a wildfire 7 weeks ago. The Israeli military says it has struck militant sites in Gaza for the third day in a row after Palestinian militants struck near border fencing, launching incendiary and explosive balloons. The mayor of El Paso says the number of illegal immigrants flooding into his border town has hit the breaking point.
This is something that we've been prepared for, but these numbers have really escalated a lot quicker than we ever anticipated.
Mayor Oscar Leeser. There's word that Bob Menendez will be making comments today, speaking publicly for the first time since being hit with federal bribery charges on Friday. No matter the fate of the New Jersey Democrat, Menendez, one Jersey Republican, made it clear over the weekend he has no interest in running for that seat.
I had a chance to appoint myself to the United States Senate in 2013. If I didn't appoint myself, the easiest way to get there, I sure as heck am not going to run for it.
Chris Christie. Chicago police are increasing patrols around DePaul's Lincoln Park campus after several students were robbed near the Quad yesterday, near West Belden and North Seminary, and near the intersection of West Belden and North Racine. Meantime, Chicago police are investigating a string of at least 7 armed robberies in the South Deering neighborhood. Over the weekend, 29 were shot, 3 fatally, in weekend gun violence, including an 86-year-old man killed in the Auburn Gresham neighborhood.
It's heartbreaking here for stupidity.
Police say Charles Hobson Sr. was getting out of his truck when he was shot and the truck stolen. Later, police took 3 young people found nearby into custody. More buses carrying illegal immigrants were brought to Chicago over the weekend, 5 on Saturday, as many as 7 on Sunday. Patrick Wisdom mashed a go-ahead home run in the 6th inning. Cubs beat the Rockies 4-3 and are solidly in charge of the 3rd National League wildcard spot right now, ahead of Miami. White Sox over the Red Sox 3-2. The news, a service of the Advanced Design Studio. Thinking of a home renovation but aren't sure where to begin? Check out Common Sense Remodeling with Advanced Design Studio. Online, advanceddesignstudio.com. A check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
Brandon Tatum wants honesty from politicians.
Whether I trust him 100% or not, or whether I think he's genuine about certain things is irrelevant to me. I just think he was a great president. The man was putting in policies, everybody was winning. So by and large, I think Trump did a lot of great things. And that's why I voted for him, and I voted for him twice. I just wish these people would just be honest, man, and not be beating around the bush because they feel like they caught up in something.
The Officer Tatum Show. Weeknights at 7, right before Jay Sekulow at 9 on AM 560. The Answer.
Structural foundation problems? Permaseal can help. Hi, I'm Roy Spencer, president of Permaseal. Last year's severe drought has homeowners across Chicagoland and Northwest Indiana experiencing symptoms of structural foundation issues. Cracked brickwork or caulking, uneven floors, new cracks in the drywall or ceiling, doors or windows that no longer open or shut properly, or basement walls that are leaning or bowing. All of these can be signs of a structural foundation issue. Too often we hear of homeowners paying for an expensive consultation just to determine the problem. Don't be one of them. Call Permaseal today at 800-421-SEAL. Our certified structural consultants will thoroughly evaluate your foundation and offer you a permanent solution at absolutely no charge. Life's frustrating enough. Let's fix what we can and avoid even bigger problems. Call Permaseal today, 800-421-7325, or visit permaseal.net.
Lots of channels, nothing to watch, especially if you're looking outside of big corporate control. It's time to interrupt your regularly scheduled programs with something worth watching. The new Salem News Channel. Straightforward, unfiltered, in-depth insight and analysis from the greatest collection of conservative minds, all in one place. SNC is home to Dennis Prager, Mike Gallagher, Sebastian Gorka, and more. Watch anytime on any screen. Free 24/7. Find what you're looking for at snc.tv.
Balance of Nature, changing the world one life at a time.
I retired 3 years ago, and I've been hearing your ads on the radio for years. And finally, when I moved, I went through this flurry of activity, and all of a sudden, after a couple months after the painting was done and the unpacking and the putting away and everything, because I moved to a different state, and I said, you know what? I'm going to get some of that and try it. I'm telling you, it was like I was a whole new person. I could have given a 3-year-old a run for his money.
Start your journey to better health with Balance of Nature. Call 1-800-246-8751 or go to balanceofnature.com to get 35% off your first preferred order with free shipping and our money-back guarantee. That's 1-800-246-8751. Go to balanceofnature.com or call 1-800-246-8751 and get this special offer by using discount code CHICAGO.
Hi, this is Carl Amari.
I'm Lisa Wolf. Join us every Saturday night beginning at 8 p.m. for all things entertainment on Hollywood 360.
If you love classic radio shows, The Shadow, Jack Benny, The Lone Ranger, Dragnet, Gunsmoke, and many more, we have them for you on Hollywood 360.
We'll also present trivia contests with prizes, showbiz news, celebrity interviews, games, and movie reviews.
So don't miss Hollywood 360 every Saturday night beginning at 8 p.m. on AM 560, The Answer.
Signature Bank is Chicago's fastest growing independently owned business bank. It's a bank where relationships still matter. I'm Dan Proft, and I know this because Signature Bank is my business bank.
Hi, I'm Tony Dreyfus, founder and president of Metropolis Coffee Company and a proud new customer of Signature Bank. We're a 19-year-old specialty coffee roaster located in the heart of Chicago. Some of your favorite restaurants and cafes serve our coffee. As a small business manufacturer, we understand the importance of working with the right bank, and that's why we made the move to Signature Bank. We were tired of the impersonal service that our large bank had provided. A friend referred us to Signature Bank, and their team was on site to understand our operations firsthand. They provided us the working capital to continue our successful business operations and to fuel our ambitions for innovation and growth. We now have the flexibility to grow at our own pace. That personal touch, you can't find that at a large bank, but we found it at Signature, and we can't thank them enough.
Signature Bank helps local businesses succeed. Let Signature Bank turn your business vision into reality. Visit signaturebank.bank. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
8:39. Let's get an update on the roads. Team Hochberg Traffic Center time. Kennedy inbound, 66 minutes O'Hare into the Burns Circle interchange. Outbound, 47 back out to the big airport. 65 minutes inbound on the Ike, 390 to the old post office. You're jammed up on the Stevenson right now as you move in from the Tri-State, 47 minutes to DuSable Lakeshore Drive. Dan Ryan inbound, 35, 95th into the Burns Circle interchange. DuSable Lakeshore Drive, accident southbound at the Oak Street curve, and an accident on Lakeshore Drive northbound near the Buckingham Fountain. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next. A service of Macy's Backstage. What will you find at Macy's Backstage? Here's a hint. Fall finds for $25 and under. Sharp blazers, cozy sweaters, cargo pants, and more. The latest trends, new arrivals at a Macy's Backstage store near you. 66 at O'Hare, 65 Lakefront, 68 Midway. Passing rain showers crossing the area. Your next news update at 9. Chicago's Morning Answer continues next on AM 560 The Answer.
Listen to AM 560 The Answer online at 560theanswer.com, on the AM 560 mobile app, on your Alexa-powered smart speaker, and on TuneIn, iHeart, and on Odyssey. Now, from the Signature Bank Studios, this is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson. If you're looking for the latest news, insight into what it means, and the sharpest opinion, there's only one station in Chicago where you can turn, and it's this one. We're AM 560, The Answer.
Top of the morning, Dan and Amy. This is some interesting data. The percentage of 12th graders who have a driver's license have ever tried alcohol.
Have what?
Ever tried alcohol. Ever go on dates. Worked for pay at all during the school year. And looking over 40 years from like 76 to 16. 1976 to 2016. The percentage of 12th graders, so high school seniors, had a driver's license, tried alcohol, go on dates, work for pay. All of those things have declined significantly. Have a driver's license, tried alcohol, dated, they were all north of 85% of 12th graders in 1976. By the end of the continuum here, 2016, fewer than 75% had a driver's license. Fewer than 65% had tried alcohol. Fewer than 60% had dated ever. And just under 55%, so a little more than half, had worked at all for pay during the school year. What do you? I wonder what you attribute that to. What does that say about our culture?
Well, I can tell you, as a mother of boys with the whole Me Too movement are so afraid to ask girls out on dates because if they look at them wrong, they're afraid they'll be accused of something.
Yeah, but it was declining well before that. I mean, it went from north of 90%, north of 85%, I should say, in the mid 90s to under 75% by the first few years of this century. Well, it's just interesting. I mean, it seems like this is not just boys. This is boys and girls. So all 12th graders. 2019 paper on the topic. It just seems like young people are less independent, or certainly at an early age, in their teenage years. I mean, you're talking about even as they enter into young adulthood, they're just less independent. Is that a problem? For more on that topic and others related to the development of young people, please be joined again by Dr. Leonard Sachs, the author of Boys Adrift, The 5 Factors Driving the Growing Epidemic of Unmotivated Boys and Underachieving Young Men. We got a lot to talk about with Dr. Sachs. Dr. Sachs, thanks for joining us. Appreciate it.
Thanks for having me.
What about that? Looking at seniors, high school seniors, and seeing such a significant drop-off over 4 decades in those 12th graders that have a driver's license, have ever dated, have ever worked for pay. I mean, it's still a majority, but it's a smaller majority.
Well, specifically regarding boys asking girls out, I've visited over 400 schools over the last 22 years. I've met with a lot of boys across the United States, and I've asked them about this, and they're pretty blunt. They'd rather look at screens. They'd rather look at porn. And I've talked to deans at high schools who says our biggest problem is the boys don't want to show up. We've had a school dance at this school for 100 years, but the boys don't turn out anymore. The girls are dancing with other girls because there's no boys, and we're thinking we're just going to phase it out. And we ask the boys, why don't you want to ask a girl out to the dance? And they're like, the girls online are way prettier. So, the porn and the screens and the video games are a major factor that's diverting boys' motivation away from the real world.
But how are we going to get boys off of their screens?
Okay, so I wrote another. You mentioned my book, Boys Adrift, which absolutely is all about this. But then I read another book called The Collapse of Parenting, which was a New York Times bestseller, because the parents have to take the lead here. You can't expect boys in this culture, and by this culture I mean the culture of Bruno Mars, Drake, Cardi B, and Megan Thee Stallion. You can't expect boys in this culture to say, oh, I'm going to be virtuous and I'm going to refrain from looking at porn even though all my friends are. It's just not realistic. You have to limit, govern, and guide what your son is doing with his screens.
You wrote a piece recently about boys' schools, all boys' schools, that is, and whether or not that could be part of the answer to boys falling behind academically in terms of the grades they get in high school, the percentage of boys that go on to post-secondary education as compared to girls.
So what boys need to get excited about education is very different from what girls need to get excited about education. In this country, we deploy what I call the middle-class script. The middle-class script is work hard at high school, get into college, work hard at college, get a good job, have a good life. That doesn't work. It does not motivate boys. Because boys who are perfectly content with their video games and their pornography, it's not going to work. You need to create a completely different culture where it's cool for a boy to be a gentleman and a scholar. And I saw that firsthand at this school in Dallas, where I have now visited on 8 days on 4 different trips over the last 12 years, the Barack Obama Male Leadership Academy, where they really have taken this to heart and have created a school where boys are proud to earn an A, to win points for their team. And you have boys from low-income households demanding more books to read in their spare time. And the school's done extremely well, way outpacing basically every other school in the district and in the top 10% across the state of Texas on the state tests, despite the fact that more than 80% of these kids come from low-income households, qualify for free student lunches. Now, I emphasize just putting boys in a building without girls accomplishes nothing good and often leads to catastrophe. Teachers have to be trained in how you lead a boys' classroom. It's very different from a co-ed classroom. I can tell you about lots of schools that have failed miserably because they thought all they had to do was build a school without girls and good things would happen. That's not what happens. But that school did their homework, and they've had very good outcomes now over the past 12 years.
Ironically entitled Barack Obama Academy. But anyway, so what's happening there? So I read the piece of the competition. They're separated into houses, and you compete.
House competition.
Yeah,
yes.
you compete. But going back to what you said before about building men of character, turning young men into young gentlemen. I mean, so it's not just competition; it also has to be character formation needs to be part of that competition. I guess maybe, right?
Yeah, the school leaders have to have a very clear understanding of what they're trying to accomplish. It's not primarily about grades and test scores. It's about becoming a better man, and they have advisories where men talk to boys about what does it mean to be a good man. Does a good man look at porn? Does a good man spend his free time playing video games? And it's really eye-opening because the boys are coming from a culture, the culture of popular American culture, where, yeah, all the boys look at porn and all the boys spend their free time playing video games. And so you've got to have men coming in and saying, no, actually, becoming a better man means you find something better to do with your time than look at porn.
Wow. So you also wrote another article about politics and parenting, that children of liberal parents are more likely to be depressed. Can you explain how that works?
So, yeah, that's a remarkable finding. So, we've had scholars like Jean Twenge who've been studying kids over the past decades and seeing who's more likely to be depressed. And so a very robust finding in this research is that girls are more likely to be depressed than boys are. That's been true for as long as anyone's been studying this issue, going back many decades. But recently, they've discovered something new, which is that the children of left-of-center parents are more likely to be depressed than the children of right-of-center parents. And it's now such a big effect that boys who are the sons of left-of-center parents are more likely to be depressed than girls who are the daughters of right-of-center parents. In other words, the effect of the parents' politics is now greater than the effect of whether you happen to be a boy or a girl. And that's something new, and it's a big effect. And so in my article on this topic, I explored the various conjectures as to why this may be so. And I think the most persuasive argument is that left-of-center parents tend to be more permissive. Left-of-center parents tend to say, well, I think good parenting means letting kids decide. And the problem with that is if you let kids decide, you end up with a lot of kids who are spending a lot of time on social media. And social media clearly is a major driver of depression for teenage kids. Right-of-center parents are more likely to say, no, actually, I'm going to limit what you do with your device, and I think I have that authority as a parent. Left-of-center parents are now less comfortable exercising their authority. Now, I've been a family doctor for over 30 years, and I can tell you that as recently as 20 years ago, that difference really wasn't there. Left-of-center parents were very comfortable being authoritative parents and laying down the law. But that's much less true today. That's changed. And left-of-center parents are now often into what they call gentle parenting, which means you never say no. The child is always right. Because if you say no, then you're being authoritarian and you must be a Republican. So that's that's something new that I've observed in my own practice and that researchers are documenting nationwide, that leftist-centered parents are now uncomfortable doing their job as parents.
Have you studied left-of-center parents who let their kids do a gap year, which then turns into 2 years, which then turns into 3 years?
No, I don't know of good research that looks at that intersection between there's actually only a handful of good studies looking at the politics of the parents and outcomes, and I'm not aware that any of them looked at the gap year. There is a growing proportion of young people, boys more than girls, who are adrift, and that, of course, is the focus of my book, Boys Adrift, although we're seeing a lot of girls adrift as well.
So, such a small percentage of boys or girls go to all boys. Let's just focus on boys for a second. Go to all boys schools. And so for the parents that have their son in the standard issue neighborhood government school, what's the advice and counsel you give to make sure that they don't end up adrift?
Yeah. So you want to make sure your son is attending a boy-friendly school. And a co-ed school can be friendly to boys without disengaging girls. And so you're moving to a new neighborhood. You want to know, is this school that my son is slated to attend, is that going to be a good choice for him? Some very simple metrics. If it's a high school, go and see what proportion of the kids earning honors last year were boys. Look at the dean's list, the honor roll. It should be roughly 50-50, but increasingly in the United States, at a growing proportion of schools, we find that girls greatly outnumber the boys. So looking nationwide, we do have national data on who's the valedictorian at American high schools, and girls now outnumber boys by 3 to 1. And when you look at the boys who are the valedictorians, those boys tend to be immigrants from East Asia, South Asia. White, black, and Latino boys in this country increasingly regard doing well at school as something that girls do, because schools become unfriendly to boys. Another good question is snowballs. Is the throwing of snowballs permitted? I attended public schools in Ohio, K through 12, and I grew up outside Cleveland. We got a lot of snow, lake effect snow, and during the winter months, recess and lunch, we'd put on our coats and go outside and throw snowballs at each other, and the teachers would join us. I remember Mr. Albers was a great shot. He'd get you right between the eyes every time, students against teachers. Not anymore. Today, 2 kids start throwing snowballs at each other on school property, and teacher comes out and says, "What are you guys doing? Not allowed to do that. You got to wait till after school and go somewhere else. No throwing of snowballs allowed on school property." And the unintended message the boys are getting is that I'm not welcome here. Boys doing things that boys have always done, throwing snowballs, pointing fingers at each other, saying, "Bang, bang, you're dead," drawing a picture of a weapon, now gets you in trouble. That's what I mean when I say that many schools have become unfriendly to boys, and it accomplishes nothing. Because that boy who gets in trouble because he drew a picture of a rifle, he's not going to turn into a boy who loves scrapbooking and talking about his feelings. He's going to say, "School sucks. I'm going to go home and play Grand Theft Auto, where I get rewarded for killing people." So the lack of awareness of these differences pushes boys away from school. So you got to ask around and see what's the story with this particular school. There's plenty of schools out there that are friendly to boys. You might have to move. My wife and I moved from Montgomery County, Maryland to Chester County, Pennsylvania, because we were unhappy with the choice of schools available in Montgomery County, Maryland, the People's Republic of Maryland.
Yeah, right. Right, and we know the feeling. Yeah, wow, I love the snowball test. That's really good.
Yeah.
Dr. Leonard Sachs, he is the author of bestsellers Boys Adrift and many others. And Dr. Sachs, we thank you for joining us again. Appreciate your insights.
Thanks for inviting me. Bye-bye.
Thank you, and he joined us on our turnkey.pro answer line.
This is the morning show more Chicago radio listeners are choosing. This is Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
To say he lived an interesting life is an understatement. Father Dwight Longnecker is a Catholic convert with a fascinating story. And Saturday, October 21st, he's coming to St. James at Sagbridge Church to share his story, his insights on today's world, and a mysterious imaginary line linking 7 monasteries from Ireland to Israel. Don't miss Morning of Recollection featuring Father Longnecker, a prolific writer, blogger at Standing on My Head, and author of numerous books including Beheading Hydra and Immortal Combat. Be inspired with a plan to battle the cultural currents of our day and hear a fascinating presentation on the Sword of St. Michael, the imaginary line linking 7 monasteries. This one-time event is Saturday, October 21st from 9 a.m. until 12 noon at St. James at Sagbridge Church in Lamont, 10600 Archer Ave, corners of Route 83 and Archer Avenue. To sign up, go to historicstjames.org. Seating is limited. That's historicstjames.org to reserve your spot at Morning of Recollection with Father Longnecker. Men.
And women.
It's sometimes hard to talk about, but it takes a real toll on your life. Pelvic floor issues. What is that?
Pelvic pain, rectal pain, pain with intimacy, pelvic organ prolapse, painful or loss of bladder or bowel control, overactive or underactive bladder, and constipation.
Good news. Cotorinos Physical Therapy pioneered many of the physical therapy approaches to drastically change the problems you are dealing with without drugs. Strategies to fix the problem. It's time to make the call and have a conversation.
630-620-0232. Don't feel like there's nothing you can do, because there is.
Pelvic floor issues can affect your sleep, your activities, and your life. Cotorinos Physical Therapy has been helping people for over 46 years. It's their specialty.
They simply know more about it. They successfully treat men and women of all ages, and they can help you too. Call and ask about your issues.
Cotorinos Physical Therapy, 630-620-0232. Go to pelvictreatment.com.
Pelvictreatment.com. 3 Chicagoland locations.
Lots of channels, nothing to watch, especially if you're looking outside of big corporate control. It's time to interrupt your regularly scheduled programs with something worth watching. The new Salem News Channel. Straightforward, unfiltered, in-depth insight and analysis from the greatest collection of conservative minds, all in one place. SNC is home to Dennis Prager, Mike Gallagher, Sebastian Gorka, and more. Watch anytime on any screen. Free 24/7. Find what you're looking for at snc.tv. AM 560, The Answer.
All right, another day of broadcast excellence. Dan, what are you going to do today? This is when you say, mind your own business.
Yeah, snowball fight.
Oh.
I'm going to revisit my youth.
You're still processing.
It's too early in the winter. We're not there yet, thankfully. Anyway, yeah, I got stuff to do. Don't worry about it.
Okay, thanks.